stuck down underneath, wanting to push his way through. Harry Mesgar has been able to get into third. Challenge now up in front. Hutchinson trying to challenge Kitkovets. To no avail, though, because Keeley now puts the pressure down out of the saddle, the only of the four to get out of the saddle as they came to the bell. Opens up a gap now as Mesgar holds on for second. It looks like that's how it's going to finish. A long way from home, but way out in front. Keeley Kitkovets from Queensland. Good win from Harry Metzger. Third across the line, Perry Judd, and Ollie Hutchinson, the early challenger, fading to fourth.
A bit of a different dynamic when there's four riders on the track for a three-lap sprint versus the two, and you can certainly see that the strategy has to be very different. When it's only two up, you can just look over your shoulder and focus on the one person, but when there's more, it's almost halfway between a sprint and a Kieran. And next up we have the men's Parac C5 sprint final. We've got Max Sudholtz from the ACT that we can just see there, as well as Matthew Gray from Western Australia. We also have Nick Neals from the ACT. Another three-lap sprint. 3 up, 3 lap.
Some of the para athletes we will see at the Commonwealth Games coming up later this year in Glasgow. Kate, you and I will be on the ground doing the commentary.
Yeah, totally.
I love the Commonwealth Games, and I think it's such an important event for the athletes as well. It really breaks up that Olympic cycle, gives them something big to aim for in the middle, and it's so wonderful that in cycling we incorporate the para track cycling into the main program, which not all sports do, so I love that.
So we roll away. Maxwell Sudholtz from the ACT. Of the two riders from the ACT, Maxwell is the one with the blue aerodynamic helmet. Nick Neals with the more traditional vented road style of helmet. And in the middle, Western Australian meat in the sandwich is Matthew Gray.
Does he look forward? Does he look over his shoulder? First or third is definitely the preferred position. And Matthew Gray does exactly that.
Comfortable riding up high on the track. Doesn't mind the steep banking here at the Meares Velodrome in Brisbane. If they stay down the bottom there, it'll be a huge advantage for Gray. Right up towards the fence. Very high on the handlebars and the seat post as well. Small frame for Matthew Gray. And diving down underneath, Nick Neals it is. And here he is now. Matthew Gray knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to stay high, use that banking to get some acceleration. 1 lap to go, and Matthew Gray says, see you later, boys. ACT will fight out second and third, or will they? Because look at the speed coming from Sudholtz. Closes it down really quickly. Max Sudholtz over the top. Will he get there? He does indeed. Good sprint in the end from Max.
How comfortably in the end. A great turn of speed, especially in that final 125 metres, the last half lap. But Matthew Gray did everything right. Sudholtz just too much power in the end.
Confirmation, Sudholtz, Gray and Neals. Exciting finish to that one. You can see the riders on the right-hand side just starting to get ready to come back out onto the track. It's the second heat of the under-19 women's sprint semi-finals. We'll see Paige Squire, who is one up against April Patty, the South Australian. The fastest qualifier, big difference in speed between her and April Patty in the qualifying, and a comfortable win, had to be said, from that first race, looking to get herself into the race for gold and silver. What can April do, the Queenslander, to try and overcome the extra speed that Paige Squire possesses?
Well, Paige Squire, fastest qualifier this morning. Last year she was 6th in the junior women's 19 sprint. A lot can happen in a year in the juniors. It's actually wonderful to watch their progression.
Underway. And Paige Squire 1 race win away from going into a race for gold and silver. April Patty with a bit of work to do to try and force the decider. Climbing the boards, the South Australian Squire. Quickly comes back down again. So April just picking up the pace a little bit to make sure that Paige did come back down. Didn't let the gap go too big as they come to 2 to go.
And Paige Squire really riding into her own too. She qualified this year a full second faster than what she qualified last year, which is an enormous jump. And you don't ride the same when you're that much faster. So she's also learning to race out there, even with so much speed.
Staying on the bottom of the track, April Patty, but I feel that Paige Squire is just waiting to pounce down the back straight, gently up to the back wheel. And it's going to be a fight for her now to get around the outside. We know there's a big speed difference between them, but April Patty doing an incredible job on the inside and holds on. I really thought with a lap to go, Paige Squire was going to blast past. So well done to April Patty. She has forced a decider here in the semi-finals, qualified 5th, and has now taken a race heat away from the fastest qualifier.
Yeah, that was a sensational race. Gee, she really held on. Remembering how fast Squire is, and that's sort of what we were talking to about these young riders. Each year they're getting so much faster that you can't really establish what your go-to tactic is when your acceleration changes so much year on year. When they settle down a bit as elites and the speed differentials are far more incremental than they are as a junior. But this is where they learn. You hope usually that they only make the mistake once, but you know, often it's more than that. I was guilty of that myself, of course.
Well, you learn more from your mistakes. It's famous quotes by many athletes. As we made a little mistake coming up onto the start line there, but no one hurt, as Madeline Pitt almost falling over, and Emily Watch one up against Maddie from that first race. This is heat number 2, under 19 women's sprint semi-finals. We saw an upset in the previous one, and these two much quicker in terms of outright speed. So what can Maddie Pitt do to get over the top of Emily Watch? Pitt goes first. Watch in second position.
Pitt didn't qualify as well this morning as you would think, given she's in the top 4. She was 7th, so she's really raced her way through, which is absolutely sensational.
And we know in the sprint competition there are so many races. They are the fastest athletes that we have. So many races. Fatigue does come into play, but this is day 1, so it shouldn't be too big an issue for them, you would think. Certainly 3, 4, 5 days into a competition, then you go deep into the sprint rounds, and it does become a matter of who can back up race after race. So Watch, second position from the ACT, Pitt. And Emily Watch seems quite comfortable to stay in that second position as they come around to get the bell this time. Now drifting up underneath. So Emily, Maddie Pitt, second position, and they've really decelerated here. 1 lap to go and a real stall tactic happening. Maddie Pitt having none of it as she sprints over the top, still on the outside, hasn't been able to close it down. So it'll be a drag race down the back straight. Pitt on the outside. Watch with the shorter distance around the inside. Watch has already won up in this semi-final for the under-19 women. She'll go 2 straight, and she's into the race for gold and silver. Comfortable
in the end, but really great racing from Pitt. She put herself in the best position. There was quite a significant speed differential in qualifying. So on paper, this is what should have happened. But I like Madeline Pitt's style. She's progressed to the top 4 from a 7th spot in the qualifiers. So she can certainly be pleased. She'll be racing for a bronze medal while Watch progresses to the gold.
That is a huge step up from 7th place to still be in the racing for the medal. So good result for Maddie, but Emily Watch is the one to beat. We still have to wait and find out now whether Paige Squire or April Patty will be racing her in the race for gold. Under 19 women's individual pursuit now.
It's 3,000 metres. We've got Elsie Apps and Niamh Parslow racing for the bronze medal. Elsie Apps was the faster in qualifying. She rides for New South Wales. She will be in the front straight, so the fastest rider in any pairing will be in the front, and the other rider will be in the rear straight.
So 2 seconds separated them in qualifying, but as we've seen in the individual pursuit, you've got to back it up second time. So that 2 seconds, on paper you think, yep, sure. Elsie Apps, the favourite from New South Wales over Niamh Parslow from Queensland. But there is a real chance if Niamh can just ride somewhere similar to the time she rode this afternoon, that might be good enough to get the bronze medal here. So Elsie needs to back up that good result from the qualifying.
Niamh was 7th in this event last year. Elsie Apps, this is her first year. There used to only be 2,000 metres, now it's 3,000. That is quite a change, certainly. Niamh Parslow, she rode a 347.7 last year. This year she's qualified in a 341.337, so quite a significant improvement from her.
So now the start gates coming up. Medal rounds. Race for the bronze medal in the under-19 women's individual pursuit. Elsie Apps in the home straight, the faster of the two we mentioned, 339.1 versus 341.3. Niamh Parslow from Queensland in the back straight. Backing up, that's the question. Who can do it better?
So 3 kilometres, 12 laps.
So much learning to be done at this age group. Jordan Kirby, former world champion in the individual pursuit for the men as a coach for Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. So Niamh Parslow has one of the best in the business guiding her around the track. Can she use that to her advantage? She knows this velodrome very well. The Meares Velodrome here in Brisbane, such a splendid facility.
So in the qualifying, Apps took the entire, there was 2 seconds between them at the end, 2.1 seconds in their qualifying times, and she made that entire gain in the first kilometre of racing. So we can expect the young rider from New South Wales to start very fast. And Niamh Parslow, that's when you're not racing the clock, they're racing each other. So Parslow will have to make sure that gap doesn't go out too early.
Race for bronze, women's under-19 individual pursuit. Elsie Apps from New South Wales versus Niamh Parslow from Queensland. Plenty of support, of course, for the Queenslander. What can Elsie Apps do to focus on her race and forget about the crowd support for her opponent? As you expected, quick out of the box there, out of the starting gate for Elsie Apps.
So to keep our eye on it, for that first kilometre, Apps went through it in 1:15.1 this morning, and Parslow in a 1:17.3. So we'll get a bit of a gauge of how they're going when they're at that 1 kilometre mark, and that is 4 laps in. So they see 10 to go now. And Parslow has started much faster than she did this morning, and they're on quite even pairing. So a bit of a change up in the race strategy.
So the expected quick start from Elsie Apps being matched so far by Niamh Parslow. We saw how successful the Queensland team were last year on this track, and big step up in all the team pursuit events as well, which shows depth of numbers for the state of Queensland, which they hadn't had in the previous 10 or 15 years, to be honest. So there has been a real influx of new talent coming through the program up here in Brisbane.
So Parslow went through slightly faster than this morning. Apps went through slightly slower than this morning. I'm not too concerned about this nearly 1 second gap, because in the qualifying that was at 2.5 seconds at this point. So we're seeing a stronger ride from Parslow than we did this morning. But that's the question, Scott. Is Parslow riding faster or is Apps fading a bit? I mean, we'll see that a bit toward the 2 kilometre mark. We'll get a better gauge.
Well, they'll come around to get 5 laps to go, and they get 1.4 seconds, so it has gone out another tenth of a second. Parslow, quick start from her, but hasn't been able to maintain that. And Apps so far now out to almost 1.6. So the gap opening even more for Elsie Apps. She can perhaps sense a bronze medal is going to be hers in another couple of laps as they come towards the final kilometre.
Well, great ride from Elsie Apps, because she started a little bit more conservatively than this morning, but has been able to really pick it up and ramp it up, which she couldn't do in her qualifying. So she's still learning the pacing strategy of an individual pursuit. And likewise, Niamh Parslow, she knew she had to come out a little bit quicker and try and put it to Apps, which she did. So both of the riders have really grown strategically, but there's nowhere to hide in an individual pursuit. The time's the time.
Absolutely. And 2.5 laps to go as Parslow comes down the home straight. She started in the back straight, of course, and the gap come down just slightly there. So a little fight back from Niamh Parslow. It might be too little too late, though. With 2 laps to go, 500 metres, 1.72 seconds. It's a big one to overcome. That's a massive margin at this stage of the race, as they've only 1.5 to go now. It is coming, though, in the right direction for Niamh Parslow. Elsie Apps from New South Wales with 250 metres remaining, trying to hold on to this bronze medal as Parslow fights to try and get over the top, but it does look like Apps might have enough with half a lap to go. Apps from New South Wales, Parslow closing it down even more, but there won't be enough time, not enough distance, as Apps picks up the bronze medal and down to just over a second for Niamh Parslow. So a great fight back from the Queenslander.
Sensational riding from both of them. They didn't just race the clock, they raced each other, which is really important, but also hard to learn as an individual pursuit rider, because a lot of the training you do, you're not racing anybody, you're kind of racing yourself and learning how you pace yourself. So great riding from both of them. 3:40.445 for Elsie Apps, and she'll take home the bronze medal.
Fairly close to the time she rode in qualifying, which is always that question to see if they can back it up, and fair to say, didn't go quicker, but it was pretty close. So that's a really quality ride there from Elsie Apps.
All right, we're looking at Megan Moore now. This is the race for the gold medal. In the front straight is Megan Moore. In the back straight is Sienna Monteith. Megan Moore, she talking about improving over the years. She has knocked off 9 seconds in the last year in the individual pursuit. So she was 5th in this event last year. But she has grown enormously, also coached by Jordan Kirby. There he is, having a bit of a chat. He's won this event at the World Championships. Somebody's going to give you some good advice. It's Jordan Kirby. She's just a very classy young rider. I would put my highlighter on her for the Brisbane 2032 Olympics, if I'm honest. Sienna Monteith, she is also really progressing rapidly through the sport. There was a 2-second difference in qualifying. Not against the clock now, it's against each other. Both riders in the maroon from Queensland.
The race for gold and silver. Women's under-19 individual pursuit. Both Queenslanders, Megan Moore, Sienna Monteith. And a comfortable start from Megan Moore. Right down onto the blue bands. Way back in the day, we had the foam dividers, stopping them from going on to the blue. Not required anymore. And a very good start from Sienna Monteith, much quicker than Megan Moore.
Very similar kilometre times in the qualifying. Megan Moore on a ginormous gear. Absolutely massive gear. So she's pedalling a lot slower, lower cadence. That's what we call it.
Well, hence the slow start as well. That first half lap was much slower from Megan.
But she's starting to gain momentum, and on that bigger gear, the theory is that it's a bit slower to start, but then you just get speed. And once you're on top of it, it's a little bit easier on the legs and lungs. I mean, that's the theory. The problem is if you don't get on top of it, then it's not easy on legs, lungs, heart, brain, anything.
And the advantage these days, we talk about these days versus the olden times of my time, but it's the aero effect that enables the big gears to be sustainable. They're so much more slippery through the wind now, through the air, that they can ride these big gears that we just couldn't back in the day with normal spokes and flappy clothing. And she's up to full speed now, because look at the gap as it goes towards Megan Moore, and almost a second already. So the gear is up and going, and she's very slippery through the air here in Brisbane.
So it was a 2-second difference in the qualifying, 3:36.5 for Moore, 3:38.5 for Monteith. And Moore is just gaining speed and powering around the track. This is looking to be quite a commanding ride, chasing the gold medal.
Now she'll be focusing on the black line in front of her and her coach Jordan Kirby, but she might start to see through her peripheral her opponent, who's getting closer and closer to her now. And the gap really opening up. There's 2.8 seconds, so more than what the margin was over the complete distance in the qualifying. So this is looking like a bit of a walkover and a comfortable ride for Megan Moore. Sienna Monteith, there's a question over her time. What can she do? 3:38 in qualifying. Can she hold on and produce a quality time here in her race for what looks at the moment as if it's on odds on for silver?
This is an incredible ride from Megan Moore. She can kind of see Sienna Monteith up there. It's a bit of a rabbit to chase, but she is looking so smooth. Coach Jordan Kirby, he doesn't give anything away. He wasn't showing too much enthusiasm, but you know he's feeling it. But when they do get the bell, that is when he'll really be able to unleash, and he'll say something along the lines of, give it everything, this is it, encouraging her on the way.
Well, one more lap until she'll hear the sound of the bell, Megan Moore. Monteith comes across her start-finish line now as well. They are in the same straight. So it's a formality now for Megan Moore. With a lap and a quarter to go, the gold medal is definitely going to her. It was going to go to Queensland anyway, with both the riders here in the race for gold and silver representing the Sunshine State. And with one lap to go, Megan Moore comfortably riding around the track that she knows so well. Both these riders, so many hours of training here at the Meares Velodrome in Brisbane. And this time for Megan Moore, the result is a gold medal in the under-19 women's individual pursuit, and a time very comparable to what she did in qualifying. So a quality performance from both these riders as Sienna Monteith picks up the silver.
Fantastic ride from the young Queenslanders. They know each other very well. They do a lot of training together, so sometimes it's a bit of a psychological game to get out there on race day. But what I really noticed about Moore, and in part because of the big gear, but she looks very smooth. You know, she's got long limbs, but she just looks very controlled and very smooth on the bike. And you can see she's trying to get some breaths in now, some very big... It does take your breath away, individual pursuiting.
Big breaths. And the helmets keep getting bigger and bigger. As we look at Megan Moore's helmet coming down now, not that big, but compared to some of the ones we see out on the road scene in the World Tour, crazy sized helmets they're running around with.
We're showing our age when we talk about that, but you're right, it makes them slippery, right?
Our disdain for the current trends.
I bought a beautiful new road bike the other day, the Trek, but it's got a hole in the back of the frame. I love it. I think it looks beautiful, but I know that my father, God rest his soul, would have been mortified because it's not traditional.
A hole in the back of the frame?
Well, you know, in the seat post.
Okay.
It goes through. It's supposed to be there. It's a beautiful bike.
Just watching the riders here strapping in again for their second race in the Tandem. Two powerful men strapped into the bike. You have to be brave. You see former Keirin World Champion Shane Perkins bringing the Western Australians up.
Have you done it? Have you?
No, I've never been on the Tandem, no. Olympic gold medalist in Brett Aitken. So it takes the strength and the power of Shane Perkins. He does the job of two men.
Well, if you haven't seen the documentary Changing Tracks, you need to. That followed some of our para athletes through the Paris Olympic campaign. Just magnificent. If you watch this and you enjoy it, that will show you what really goes into it and what happens when doesn't all go to plan.
Well, Heat 2 in the men's Para B sprint finals. Kane Paris with Luke Zachariah steering up front for Western Australia. Got the job done in the first race, best of 3 of course. Now in second position. Very close between these two teams in qualifying though. So Bo Wooten from South Australia with Byron Davies trying to take control here. But a big push coming from Paris on the outside. Wooten really needs to hold them off. Drag race down the back straight. Shorter distance around the final bend. It's advantageous for the South Australians. But look at the strength of the Western Australians trying to come over, but they won't get there. So Bo Wooten and Byron Davies get the win. So it's 1 win apiece. We will get to see them come out again and do battle in the decider.
That's a great combination with Byron Davies on there, because he's a huge man. I mean, he's been an incredible, particularly kilometre rider. In his own right, like sensational, so much power. I just love this combination. And you can tell he knows how to race too. Like, both of them know how to race. If they can do what you're hoping a tandem can do, which is really ride with that synchronicity. Oof.
And the size of the pairings, very different, with Byron, as you can see, just physically so much bigger than Bo Wooten. Kane Paris and Luke Zachariah, a little bit more similar in stature between the two Western Australians. Both teams, though, with a win apiece, so we'll get to see them again in the decider. Just indicating how close they were in the qualifying round. Whoever got to the bell first on the inside came away with the win. So you imagine when they come out next time, there will be a real battle earlier on to get into that first position coming to the bell. Several brains trusts, as we see Bear Liang, the maroon button-up shirt, team manager for the Queensland team. Proud dad as well of a rider that we expect to do very well here in the championships. Steve Machete in the left-hand side, commissaire. So much going on inside the Velodrome at any international or national level event. Sprinters, endurance riders, all doing their different preparations and warm-ups and getting ready for the next event.
Oh, they're playing a bit of Andrea Bocelli here in the Velodrome. Time to say goodbye, folks. It is not time to say goodbye just yet.
Takes me back to the Winter Olympics only a few weeks ago.
That was a beautiful
fantastic
theme song, I must say. There's a lot going on inside a Velodrome. I love that about the sport, actually. It's like a fishbowl. You get to watch them warm up, you know. In a lot of other sports, if you look at swimming, for example, you don't see what they do to warm up. You don't get to see anything except the dramatic moment they put the robe on and, you know, walk out through the big shiny gates. I mean, I think it would be quite fun if we could put robes on the athletes, and as they walked up to the track, they, you know, flung off the robes. Be very dramatic.
Almost getting the urge to sing. No, I'm not going to put anyone through that. So the first of our medal ceremonies, not too far away. We see the wonderful partners of AusCycling and the Track National Championships. ARA been a wonderful partner of the national team as well in recent years. GWM also coming on board. Of course, we're up here around the same time as the Brisbane Cycling Festival, and hasn't that been a wonderful inclusion to the national program?
Oh, it's a very cool event, the Brisbane Cycling Festival. There's the Tour de Brisbane, of course, but it also includes some Oceania Championships. Of course, these the Q Tour, which was the Pro Velo Super League round that was on the weekend. It is a wonderful time to be out and about on the bike. Brisbane City Council does an incredible job of supporting the event and has done for a number of years. I haven't committed to the long ride at the Tour de Brisbane, but I do plan to take the kids out, see if I can cajole them around.
Oh, Bear Liang once again in the centre of the shot, just hogging the limelight up here, loving his role as the state manager. Con Cronus, the photographer, does a wonderful job of all of the cycling, road and track. He was actually in, we talk about Winter Olympics, he was over in Milan doing a lot of the photography of the Winter Olympic Games.
Because we're a big happy family, we've got Josh down there, who's Byron Davies' brother. He's doing the media. Man with the mic.
Now we will have the opportunity to have Josh to have a chat with our winners when we get to that point after the presentations, if not just before. Don't know if you'll get to interview his big brother just yet, as Byron still with a race to go in the men's Para B sprint final.
Well, I was just, while we were waiting, going over the Australian records for the under-19 women. I thought Megan Moore might have been very close. The record 3:34.885, and that was Amelie Sanders last year, but the championship record has been broken, so that now belongs to Megan Moore. Took that by a good half a second this morning, so that's a excellent ride from her. So we have a number of different Australian records. We've got the national record, which is the fastest an Australian has ever ridden anywhere. We've also got the all-comers record, which is the fastest time that's ever been ridden in Australia. And then we have the championship record, which is the fastest time ever ridden at national championships.
And with the championship record, as you mentioned, now being broken, and that was Amelie Sanders, as you said, from last year. The other records that she held were from the Oceania Championships, I think.
Yeah, the week before.
And Amelie Sanders has really kicked on. Medals at the World Championships under-19s last year, and very good in the Pro Velo Super League over the last few weeks as well. So another big name to look out for in the future, Amelie Sanders. So the first of our medal ceremonies about to get underway. And Gordon Allen from the men's C2 category, the New South Welshman, our first national champion for the Paras after his performance in that sprint earlier on. Several categorisations represented in that first sprint. So Kyle Willis, the Queenslander, he took out the C3 para category in the sprint, finishing second in that race. And Corey Boddington about to come up, the second of our Queenslanders. We saw two Queenslanders versus the New South Welshman, but they're all in separate, different categorisations. And now riding once again back into the C4s is Corey Boddington, Paralympic champion, world record holder, world champion. And the man behind a couple of the best interviews we saw at the Paralympic Games in Paris 2024.
Big smiling face. What a wonderful story he has. He's got a good background in motocross, so he's got some pretty solid skills. He's certainly not afraid when he goes up the velodrome.
No fear. And the C5 category was Max Sudholz. So Ollie Hutchinson from Queensland with the bronze medal and the AWs. Harry Metzger, the Victorian, with the silver. Keely Kitkowitz, Queenslander, with proud green and gold bands as national champion. And the presentation now for the C5s. Nick Niels from the ACT with the bronze medal in the C5. Silver, that went to Matthew Gray, Western Australian. And the national champion from the ACT is Maxwell Sudholz. And the under-19 women's individual pursuit medal presentation now. Wonderful rides by all of these riders.
So Elsie Apps taking the bronze medal.
And look at the height difference just showing. Cycling is for all shapes and sizes. The height difference does not matter here. Sienna Monteith from Queensland with the silver. And the very smooth cycling Megan Moore, tall Queenslander, with the gold. Long levers.
Long levers indeed. But a great ride from the three youngsters. And they've got a big week ahead, only the first of the events.
Absolutely. First night, we finish on Sunday. Usually finish a little bit earlier on the Sunday as well, but it's such a big program. We do go into the evening, 9:10, 9:20 I think it is, Sunday night. We will be wrapping things up. Queensland time, of course. And I can see a little bit of scrambling there from Bear, who's becoming a bit of the star of the first night here, off the track at least, but the team manager for Queensland, as he's shuffling to get Megan Moore across to Josh Davies, perhaps. All three of the girls. Might get to hear from our medalists in the under-19 category. Put some names and some voices to the riders we see under these helmets with visors. And also Corey Boddington. So let's go down to Josh Davies with Corey Boddington.
Corey, good day. How are you rate that?
Yeah, that was good. That was really cool problem as well.
Good racing.
I had a plan to hold him on the head.
Corey.
Looking forward to seeing how he can progress going forward, Corey, and see if he can get under that magic 10-second barrier as a para-athlete. That would be extraordinary. Can't put it past him, you must say. We get back to the action on the track, though. So the decider in the women's first semi-final, Paige Squire up against April Patty, one race apiece. So we can forget about that now. Let's just go for the race. First to the line, we'll be going into the race for gold and silver. Emily Watch is patiently looking on from the inside of the track. You're expecting me to say something else then, Kate, but Emily Watch is looking on from the inside and to see who she's going to be racing for in that race for gold and silver. So Squire from South Australia, Patty from Queensland. Winner is into the gold medal race.
Squire took the first round, Patty the second. Squire the faster qualifier of the pair, but Patty has raced her way through to this semi-final, and she's shown that strategically she's willing to take a risk and willing to throw it out there.
Well, April, the Queenslander, was so strong from the lead position. That should be the tactic to try and do that again, but she's given herself a big gap here to Paige Squire. Up and down the track, weaving. High now for Patty. Is she happy to stay in second position? Does Paige Squire feel that she has control from the front? She did in that first race to get the win, but couldn't come around the outside of Patty in race number 2. And they'll come around to get the bell now, and the pace is really on as both riders maximising the power through the pedals with 1 lap to go. Down the bottom of the track, and Patty is glued to the back wheel of Squire. Always difficult to step out with no momentum to try and come around. Squire has the spot and the position at the front, and it looks comfortable as she comes down. She'll get the win. 2 wins to Squire. Patty unable to come over the top. So Squire will be racing against Emily Watch in that race for gold and silver. And for April Patty, still has a chance to get a bronze medal. She'll race against Madeline Pitt.
It was very well done by Paige Squire, who just needed to ride conservatively and use the speed that she has, the speed that we saw in qualifying as she took the fastest qualifying spot.
It's how both of the first 2 races were won. Whoever was on the front at the bell lap controlled the pace. That's why I felt maybe for April it would have been better to try and go earlier and get to the lead position and try and replicate what she did in that second race. But she'll learn. We don't know how they're feeling out there either. It's easy to say it.
It's very easy from where we're sitting. A little bit of rest now, thankfully, before they come out to race for those medals. We've got the Women Elite Time Trial Final. Now, they rode this morning in qualifying. The top 8 went through to the final. That's what we're watching now. And Victoria Smith, who's just stepped up from the under-19s a couple of years ago. She is from North Queensland or regional Queensland. And she's an exciting young rider. She's got a lot of tenacity. She's from Rockhampton. Actually, the Queenslander, you can tell I'm not a native Queenslander when I call Rockhampton North Queensland.
No.
It's not quite.
I think it might be halfway. It might be. It's a very big state, though, isn't it?
It is.
But they do have a wonderful velodrome outdoor. I know that we all think about the indoor tracks, but the Rockhampton, the Kenrick Tucker Velodrome, outdoor velodrome, it's been trained on by so many elite athletes over the years.
So this is 4 laps, 1,000 metres, 1:16.773 is what she rode in the qualifying this morning. It is not unusual in the final to see the riders not improve from their qualifying, because it's a nasty event to ride once, let alone having to back it up. And it is a new thing that it's not a straight-out final.
Yep, very difficult indeed. So Victoria Smith from Queensland, also just with the normal drop bars as well. So she won't get the aerodynamic advantage of the time trial bars for the second half of this race. Now Victoria Smith from Queensland gets things underway in the women's elite time trial, 4 laps of the track. And those bars certainly no disadvantage whatsoever for the first half lap, perhaps even the first full lap. It's after that where the time trial bars really do give you an advantage.
After each
And the first split to look for, 21.889. Big gear. See that cadence really rolling the pedals over.
Faster than she rode this morning for that first lap. So she comes through again, another full second up on where she qualified this morning. So great ride from Victoria Smith. Can she hold on to it?
That's the question. No aero, helping her be slippery through the air as she gets to 1 lap to go. 56.5 over 750 metres. And this is the business end of the race. The final lap of a kilometre time trial is brutal. So hard to try and hold on to the pace when the lactate is just flushing through the system. You feel as if it's dripping out of your fingernails. It hurts so much. And a 1:15.6. So nice little improvement from this afternoon, but ouch, that hurt.
Ouch indeed. Good ride from her. She will be the fastest so far. It's certainly a so far event. Only one on the track, so they're not racing against somebody else. Next up, we will see Ava Schmidtke from South Australia.
And a big step up in terms of overall speed, expected, you would think, after what we saw this afternoon.
So Schmidtke rode a 1:12.3 earlier. In good coaching hands. Brett Aiken there, Olympic gold medalist.
Used to ride okay, Brett.
Yeah, had a good mate to hold hands with, I'm told. He's passing on his knowledge at the South Australian Institute of Sport.
Well, and while he wasn't a specialist in this event, he was still good at it. He was, from an endurance athlete, very rapid. So very good at this type of discipline. And of course, as a coach, so much experience across all of the disciplines. For Ava Schmidtke, certainly in good hands. But now it's all up to her. The training, the hard work, and then that pain tolerance, so important now.
Well, she was a good individual pursuiter. Was fourth in the junior women's IP last year. She stepped up into seniors this year, into the elite women.
And she's underway, Ava Schmidtke. She was the slowest of all of the riders this afternoon for the opening lap, and that is perhaps because of that endurance background, the pursuit that you mentioned, Kate. Should mean that she can hold on to it a little bit more in the second half of this 4-lap time trial, though. Time trial position, that'll give her that aero advantage as we get deeper as well.
So this event was won in a 1:07.9 last year. That was Claudia Marks. We'll see her as the 8th rider. So Schmidtke comes through at the halfway mark. Hasn't yet been able to pick the speed up from what she did this morning.
Can she hold on to it? Trying not to decelerate is as important as pure speed at the start of these events. Such a hard one, the time trial. Schmidtke down the back straight. German surname, and gee, they were so good at this discipline back in the day. Olympic gold medalists in the men's discipline. And for Schmidtke, fastest time, 1:12.3, so similar to what she rode this afternoon. As expected, she goes to the top of the table.
But gee, that was all in the last couple of laps. So really showing her endurance colours shining through there. And standings in the top right corner. So Schmidtke, 1:12.305, sits in the hot seat.
Well, you mentioned Claudia Marks, the fastest qualifier. That was the time quicker than the national record that she did do last year. So on very good form, Claudia Marks. 106.39 was the Australian national record, the championship record also held by her. All comers, that's Elise Andrews, the Olympic gold medalist, Kiwi. She did that here on this track as well. 104.6. Can anyone get close to that all-comers record? That would be extraordinary.
Brianna Hargrave. Certainly from the sprint side of the family. We talked about Schmidtke from the endurance side.
And the first mum that we've had on the track today.
She also rode a 1:12.3 this morning. Last year, a 1:09.6, so we know that she can break that 1:10 mark.
Sprint specialist, you expect a much quicker start and opening lap from Brie than what we've seen from the first two riders, Smith and Schmidtke. Again, the second rider that we've seen without the time trial bars though, so while the first lap will be quick, she'll lack that aero advantage on the second half of the race, so 0.36 of a second faster than we've previously seen.
Can Hargrave dip under that 1:10 that we saw, 1:09.6 we saw last year? To qualify into the final, it makes sense that Hargrave would have done enough to qualify, but not more, and carried the least amount of fatigue into this final event. She gets the bells, she's well up.
Well, indeed up, 2.3 seconds, so Hargrave dispersing with the whole theory of aerodynamics. Normal drop bars for her and able to hold the speed. It's coming back a little bit now, still over 2 seconds. As she comes up towards the line, it'll be the quickest time by a long way and continues over 2 seconds. 1:10.261 and a new leader at the top.
Great ride.
5 riders still to come. How long will that last? That is the question. The next couple of riders, well, not that much quicker than Brie in qualifying. It's not till we get down towards Ella Liang, Nicole Duncan, and of course our fastest rider so far, and Claudia Marks from this afternoon. Could she indeed hold on for a medal? That's the big question now.
Anna Dubier, she's up on the track now. First year in the elite, sensational rider, junior world champion in the points race. I feel as though when we're going through the riders, we're coming from a sprint background and then a endurance background. Endurance background is what we've got here with Anna. That's why the 1 kilometre time trial is such an interesting event. When it was 500 metres, you didn't get more endurance-based riders doing it. But
no way.
No way. But Claudia Marks is one of our team's pursuiters, and she's got the national record. And is the fastest qualifier here today, so
yeah,
certainly can happen.
We were all eagerly awaiting the introduction of the 1,000 metres for the ladies, not knowing exactly which riders it would suit the best, being double the distance of their previous time trial. 20 seconds now for Anna Dubier. Up into the elite category now. It's always a big transition for the under-19s up into the elites. So far, so good for Anna.
1:11.9 is the time she rode this morning. She'll have to better that if she wants to sit in the hot seat.
Can she be the quickest? Time to beat for her, 1:10.261. Brie Hargraves from South Australia. Then it's Schmidtke with a 1:12. Victoria Smith from Queensland, 1:15. Don't expect anything too quick to start with the endurance background that you mentioned, Kate. And that shows into the red to start with, but we expect it to be very good once we get to the 750 metre point.
Well, she has gone through a bit quicker than her first lap this morning. She will need to lift by a couple of seconds if she wants to go into that first position. So at the halfway mark, she's not quite yet up to speed with Hargrave.
So let's see if she can start bringing it back. It still goes in the wrong directions for Dubier. One more lap to go, 2 seconds to overcome to be the fastest with 4 riders still to come. It's still going in that wrong direction for Dubier. She should be able to hold on as she comes down the back straight to try and get it a little bit closer, the margin. But for now, it looks like Hargrave will stay at the top of the leaderboard as Dubier comes down with the second quickest time. Did come back a little bit, but 1.9 seconds off the pace.
And a bit of a bite after her ride this morning, which was a 1:11.9. So a little bit slower, but She's still young, remember. It's her first year in elite, and it's only March.
She could probably go out and do another 6 or 7.
Well, that's right. She could probably keep going.
Yeah. Start gate comes onto the track once more, and it will be Hope Harnetti from Victoria. And talking about Brett Aiken and his credentials in the endurance events, but Shane Kelly, the coach of Victoria, there are none better in terms of credentials for Australia in this particular discipline over 1,000 metres. The first man in the world to hit the magic minute mark for the kilometre time trial. Multiple times world champion in this discipline.
Well, that's who you want by your side. Did you notice when Hope was walking up onto the track, the little clomp, 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 trying not to slip on the cleats? It's quite unique to cycling as well, that if you're not careful, you could have an incident even getting to the start line. She did a good job, thankfully. No incident there. Harnetti was 4th this morning, so the top 8 made the final. So we're past the halfway mark. 1:11.5 she rode. She'll have to improve on that if she wants to stay in medal contention.
Well, you mentioned that the harm that can be done before you even get on, and we mentioned a couple of times already the Winter Olympics. We only mentioned it because I was one of the commentators, so I was in it and involved in it, loved it. Everyone was talking this year about the difference between the summer and the winters. Summer, fastest, longest, highest. The Winter Olympics, who can get to the end without hurting themselves?
Who can even get there? Like,
Who
forget
can
about the
even get to
time,
the
forget
finish?
about the score.
Yep.
Getting there.
Will this
is a
person
start.
still be alive at the end of the race? 10 seconds to go. Hope Harnetti. 3 riders still to come. Leanne Duncan and Marks. Time to beat. Brie Hargrave, 1:10.2. And Harnetti is underway. Huge gear on the bike. Look at the power that she's putting through those pedals.
22.194 was her first lap this morning. Let's see if she is on track out of the start gate to better that. It's Hargrave that sits at the top.
Good improvement from qualifying to the final for Brie Hargrave. Real step up for her.
A little bit faster for Harnetti. A full 10th up on what her time was this morning. If she can keep this speed up, she will come close to Hargrave's time.
And 38.2 as she comes through. That's just 1/10 slower than she did in qualifying. So a great first lap, just slowed down a little bit in that second. Now the third lap for her. 54.3 this afternoon. She comes through with 54.6, so she is starting to slow. Great start, but hasn't been able to back up from this afternoon.
It's looking at about a 1:12 from here. Let's see if she can hold on. It'll be close for second, maybe to 4th. It's such a tight race.
And it's second fastest, 1:11.97. So she really did fade in the second half of that kilometre time trial. So Brie Hargrave holds on with a 1:10.2. Still the fastest time with 3 riders to come. So now it's the nervous wait to see if she can get herself up onto the podium for the South Australian.
Well, Hargrave really pulled out a blinder. I tend to think that her qualifying this morning or during the day was kept under control based on the time she did in the final and what she did last year, where she went just under the 1:10 mark. The track's reasonably quick, but it's not too hot in here. It will warm up toward the end of the week.
I think it's just more time away from a screaming child, being a fresh mother. The more time she's up here, the more sleep that she has not been able to get, that she can recover a bit more. I think Brie's just going to keep getting better and better as the week goes on. Ella Liang, talk about stepping up into the into the elite categories. This is a rider that was at the World Championships in under-19s last year. Last year's under-19 time trial champion, up into the elites now.
Yep, she was on the podium at the Junior World Championships last year. She broke the world record when she won this event at the National Championships last year in the under-19 women. She rode 109.3 this morning, so if she can replicate that, we only have 3 riders left. If she can replicate that, she will get a medal. Colour to be determined.
1:10.2 to beat. Ella Liang on her home track. She was so good last year in the under-19 category. represented Australia so well at the World Championships to pick up a bronze medal in this discipline. But she's up against the big ones now. Claudia Marks, Nicole Duncan still to come. And Brie Hargrave's time of 1:10.2 is the one to beat with 3 laps to go. Super quick first lap, 0.7 of a second faster than Hargrave. This is extraordinary from the young Queenslander.
She does start quick. She is from the sprint side of track cycling. Can she hold on to it? This is the fastest she's ever ridden, and her lead has improved.
Time of 109.2 this afternoon. So this is looking very, very good indeed for Ella. Just has to hold on to it. Racing up within the big category now. You don't want to get the emotions get the better of you. It's come back just slightly, but still a 1 second advantage. Should be able to hold on here. Still with 2 riders to come. Hargrave patiently waiting on the inside of the track to see if she'll get up into the medals. As Ella Liang comes into the final straight, is it going to be the best time? It is indeed. So a new leader, 0.6 of a second quicker than Hargrave, and a 109.6 for Ella Liang.
Oof. The crowd is pretty noisy here. Her dad's on the inside. I think he was making a lot of that noise. His name's Aaron. People call him Bear. By extension, Ella has become Baby Bear. Great ride from her. Again, first year in the elite women's category.
Well, this week you can call him decibels. It'll be very loud all week. So a good ride there from Ella Liang.
Oh, gee, that last lap.
Guaranteed a medal.
Guaranteed a medal. That last lap just shows how brutal this event can be. You are just
love watching it.
Urging them on. Yeah, when you said before we were looking forward to the women going to 1 kilometre. Yeah, it's easy for us. It's entertaining. Nicole Duncan, champion of the world as a junior.
Yeah, and that's in the scratch race. So fantastic bunch race rider. So this is going to be fascinating to see how she can go here in the 1,000-metre time trial. Real sensation, the New South Wales rider.
Well, she needs to back up from this morning because she rode a 109.165. So if there is any fade, like most of the riders have had except Hargrave and Smith are the only 2 that have gone a little bit faster, then she could be, could be closer to the bronze than to the gold. But let's see what Nicole Duncan can do. She's one of the toughest out there. Like when it gets tough, that's when she really grits her teeth.
The penultimate rider in the women's 1,000-metre time trial, Nicole Duncan from New South Wales, is underway. Don't expect a super quick start. She has that endurance background as under-19 scratch race world champion. She won that back-to-back, which was quite extraordinary. And there's the indicator, into the red, 0.4 of a second. But can she get faster and faster from here?
She took a full second in the final lap this morning out of Liang's time. So where we saw Liang fading, that is where we will see Duncan really driving it home.
And 1.1 seconds at the halfway point. So a lot of work to do for Nicole Duncan. Second fastest qualifier, 109.1 this afternoon in the tuck position. Starting to close the gap now, under 1 second. Here's the question mark after 750. Comes down even more, just under 0.8 of a second now as she goes down the back straight. It's going in the right direction. It's a huge gap to overcome in 1 lap of a Velodrome here in Brisbane. But can she do it? She did it this afternoon. Nicole Duncan comes through with the quickest time. Never in doubt, 109.3, and a new leader with only 1 rider to come. So it's a guaranteed silver medal for Nicole Duncan. Can it be gold?
That was a sensational ride. Gee, that last half lap was incredible.
It's a massive margin to overcome.
It is. That was a full second in the last lap that she gained, which was very impressive. And she looked very much in control. Talking about some of the endurance riders, looks like Anna Dubier could have kept going. It actually looks like Nicole Duncan could have kept going for a while too. Took a bit of time to get up to speed. But this is the lady, the incumbent champion with the Australian record, Claudia Marks from the ACT. She rides in the team's pursuit in the Australian team. They had a sensational team's pursuit ride in Perth with a 4:12. And Claudia Marks, well, she's got the most fast twitch fibres of the team's pursuit.
And the first time we get to see the Factor bike that was ridden to gold at the Olympic Games in Paris by the men's team pursuit team. That's also in the colours that they had back then as well, indicating Claudia's membership now in our national program. So the fastest qualifier, the Australian record holder, 106.23 this afternoon, almost 3 seconds quicker than Nicole Duncan. She is the hot favourite for this women's time trial.
106.2 was what she posted this morning.
Our final rider underway, Claudia Marks from the ACT. Fastest qualifier, hot favourite to take the gold medal here in the first night of competition at AusCycling's Track National Championships here in Brisbane. Into the red to start with, but again, the emphasis, the track endurance background, but already up to good speed. So it didn't go out any further from the half lap to the first lap.
And similar to what she rode this morning, she had a 3 second gap in the qualifying. So she's on track for the gold if she can keep building on this pace.
And the way she's going, it'll be the next split that it may go green down the back straight, and indeed it has by 0.3 of a second. So half a second turnaround in that half a lap as she comes down to get 1 lap to go. Claudia Marks is on an absolute blinder here, a second to the better of Nicole Duncan. 109.3 was the time to beat. Well, she smashed that in qualifying, and she's going to do it again here. It's a race for gold here for Claudia Marks, and she's going to claim it in sensational fashion. 106.7, 2.6 seconds the better, and a new national champion.
And 2 years in a row gold for Claudia Marks.
Looks easy.
Well, she made it look easy. Don't be fooled, people.
It just looked as if she just got quicker and quicker. We know how hard the final lap in a kilo is, but gee, that was impressive. Such a good ride from Claudia.
I'm impressed when at the end they can muster a smile, because there's a lot of events where even on the inside you're smiling, but there's not a lot happening with the face other than trying to breathe. It's a big week ahead for her as well. So good start.
Yeah, it's brutal. I know we say it every time there's the kilo comes on, but 2,000 metre time trials back to back in the one day is so difficult. She's the master of it. Very, very good. Very well done. And another exciting tandem race coming up. This is the decider. Both teams, or both riders, with 1 race apiece. So Bo Wooten from South Australia being piloted by Byron Davies, and Kane Paris from Western Australia with his regular long-time pilot in Luke Zachariah. 1 race each. First to the line this time will be the national champions.
I must say that Luke Zachariah and Kane Paris in changing track were very, very entertaining. If they want a career after cycling, then showbiz is for them. Exciting to have Byron Davies, a big sprinter, riding with Bo Wooten.
So the race for gold. And the team that got to the bell first in each of the first 2 races went on to take the win. So I think it might be a real fight, though, this time, to be in that lead position.
Well, they're so closely matched. If it's difficult for an individual rider to come from the back on this track when they're equally matched, it's nigh on impossible for a tandem unless...
And this is also 3 laps, the same as the normal individual sprint. Now, the tandem, when it was a World Championship standalone able-body event, was almost double that in distance. So it gave them the extra laps to wind up and get these massive gears going. That's not the case anymore. And we see Wooten, big advantage here. So Paris from Western Australia with a lap and a half to go. They really want to get a big run at this one. They don't want to get stuck on the outside. Shoulder to shoulder, so difficult in the tandem to try and come past. But Bo Wooten with Byron Davies steering it down the back straight with a huge margin. Kane Paris and Luke Zachariah, they will not overcome that gap now. Wooten and Davies, they will come away with the win. National Championship victory to Bo Wooten. Well piloted there by Byron Davies. And the gap just way too big. Kane Paris and Luke Zachariah just opened it up a little bit too much and unable to close it in the end. so good to have two such close teams to race at a national championships. It puts them in good stead for as we go forward towards Commonwealth Games.
I mean, that's a final you could see at the Olympics.
Yeah.
With those two. So what a great training environment.
And the Scottish superstar of the tandem, Neil Farkey, who's, I think, I don't know, 1,000 times world champion almost, it seems. He's won so many over the years. He's getting older, things are moving on, and there's room for our Aussies perhaps to step up at the Paralympic Games.
And now on to the women under-19 sprint final. We'll see Pitt and Patty racing for the bronze.
There's a pitter-patty joke in there somewhere that I'll search for.
I was just trying not to have a giggle. I mean, I still remember commentating on the Madison pairing where it was Luke Plapp and it was Plapp and Boff, and I thought that was a great pub name. I think Pitt and Patty, that could work too.
Race for the bronze, under-19 women's sprint, and April Patty from Queensland, first position. Maddie Pitt from Western Australia in second. That aero time trial helmet, looking for an extra few watts to be shaved off as she goes to maximum speed. Slow down the back straight to start with. Best of 3 competition, of course.
And both Pitt and Patty progressed through the rounds above their qualifying. Patty was 5th, Pitt was 7th, so on paper they had no right to be racing off for a medal tonight. They're both really savvy riders.
And all of these sprinters thinking really about the under-19 World Championships as well. Selection on the cards here at the National Championships for the under-19s. Starting to build things up now out of the saddle. Coming around to get 1 lap to go, and April Patty from Queensland in the front position. Maddie Pitt hoping that she's wasting energy up in front so Pitt can pounce down the back straight, and here she comes. So the Western Australian out of the saddle once more for Patty, just to maximise the amount of power going through those pedals. But Maddie Pitt from Western Australia downhill run into the finishing straight, and she goes 1 up in the best of 3 for the bronze medal. So really well executed sprint there from Madeline Pitt.
And both of them race above their speed. You know, they've both shown in their separate rounds today that they're prepared to try different tactics. That was almost just quite a traditional way of racing, quite safe. But gee, it worked for Madeline Pitt. So really well done to her. She takes the first of the round. It is the best of 3 when we're at this level of competition. And we just saw the race for bronze, and now the first race looking for the gold.
So Paige Squire, the fastest qualifier, up against Emily Watch from the ACT. So Squire did have a race taken off her, so she was beaten by April Patty in the second race, so she is beatable. Although still the favourite with that fastest qualifying ride this afternoon. So Emily Watch from the ACT, second up onto the track. So much learning.
Well, Watch and Squire were both in the sprint competition here last year. Paige Squire, she was 6th overall, and Emily Watch was 9th overall. So a bit of a dream for them to find themselves riding for the gold and silver medal.
So Paige Squire, first race in the best of 3 for gold and silver, under-19 women's sprint competition here. First night of competition, AusCycling's track national championships at the Meares Velodrome in Brisbane. And the under-19, perhaps the future Meares is on the track at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. So many good athletes have come through this facility since it was built. Plenty of pace on at the bottom of the track here from Squire. And now Watch just climbing up a little bit with 2 to go.
Well, you don't want to get caught unawares.
Happy to stay right down the very bottom of the track here, Paige. Wants to take control.
She's got a fair bit of speed already, which is certainly going to take the sting out of Watch when she does make the move.
This is going to be a short sprint. Now they go. 1 lap to go, so very, very short sprint indeed. And Squire taking a little bit of height as well. Trying to come back down towards the back there. Watch trying to close in on Page. It might be too little too late. She left too big a gap to start with. It's going to be close at the end, but not quite there. So Paige Squire will go 1 up. But it did show that closing speed from Emily Watch was quite impressive. She just left way too big a gap with a lap to go.
Another metre, and Watch would have gotten there. She certainly was coming with a lot of speed. Squire looked to be quite comfortable, actually, maybe holding a little bit in to go for efficiency. We'll see it in a replay, but her body language didn't look desperate. Maybe she didn't quite realise how fast Watch was coming, but she took the win, so it doesn't really matter in the end.
So Squire with 1 win.
And we can
About 5
see,
centimetres or so in it.
yeah, we can see the photo finish on the big board here, and I can tell you, it looks pretty tight.
Yeah.
It certainly
We are
was
right
a good competition.
smack bang on the finish line in our commentary position, so we do get a good indication.
Well, we've seen the sprinters. Now it's on to the endurance, because we've got the bronze medal write-off, then the gold medal write-off for the elite men's individual pursuit bronze medal. We'll have Liam Walsh in the front straight, Noah Blannon in the back straight, both Queenslanders. Liam Walsh riding a 4:09.8 this morning, Blannon a 4:12.047. And a big improvement time-wise for Noah Blannon. He was second in this event last year, so he's now riding for the bronze medal, but 4 seconds improved on the time from last year. So that's a sensational ride from him this morning.
Yeah, the top 3 this afternoon, Bledden, Connor Leahy and Liam Walsh, all 4:09, so super tight between those 3, all part of the national team as well. Ollie and Connor obviously shared a gold medal at the Olympics in the team pursuit, now racing against each other. And this has been the event that Connor Leahy has owned over the last 5 years. He didn't race last year. James Moriarty took advantage of that by winning gold. James not here this time. And Connor 4 in a row previously. And he's come back to have another crack at it, and second quickest to his Olympic teammate in Ollie Bledden. So that'll be a fascinating final. That's up next. And for Liam Walsh, he should have a little bit of confidence coming up against Noah Blannon. 2.5 seconds was the difference between them, but anything can happen here, and Noah has really stepped up as well. We've seen how Liam Walsh has improved so much on the track and also on the road, with several victories in Asia last year, riding for his Case Body Wrap team. But Noah Blannon now also in the national team pursuit program, so big steps from him in recent time as well.
Well, they were both in Perth doing the World Cup not too long ago, at the beginning of March, where they won a gold medal in the men's team's pursuit, but now they're up against each other. Liam Walsh from Balmoral in Brisbane, not too far from the Velodrome here actually. Noah Blannon from the Gold Coast. Sunny skies for both of them.
So Noah doing so much of his early preparation in the younger years on the old Velodrome that I used to do all of mine out at Narang. You had to ride lots when you were there, because if you stopped or slowed down too much, the world's largest mosquitoes would siphon as much blood out of you as possible.
Well, the Commonwealth Games finished there in 2018, but for the mountain bike.
Yeah.
Mountain bikers are used to the mosquitoes.
Race for bronze, men's individual pursuit. Noah Blannon in the back straight with a white helmet. And the opposite is what we see here actually, is Liam Walsh with the black helmet. So all Queensland battle for bronze.
Yep, flip the riders and the names. But Walsh, what a difference in style in the start there. Like, Walsh is such a big, powerful rider. Noah Blannon, more of a greyhound style frame. Walsh with a faster start.
And that's to be expected. He's certainly a more of a sprinter type, and as bunch race specialist now on the track, he needs to be able to sprint in the points races, scratch race, etc. And different positions on the bike, with Liam a bit stockier, wider shoulders, thicker through the torso, and Noah Blannon stretched out more in that real tuck position, hiding behind his hands. So Blannon with a little bit of work to do. 0.4 of a second down. He was 2.5 seconds slower in the qualifying, but who can back up? It's always the question in these pursuits.
They started in similar fashion this morning through that first kilometre. But Walsh a little bit faster this evening.
Yeah, Noah's holding on to this, 0.3, maintaining the gap. It's ever so small at the moment, still at 0.3.
They, in the qualifying at the 2 kilometre mark, they were nearly even. And then it started to go pear-shaped for Blannon, and they're ended up with a 2.5 second difference. But at the 2 kilometre mark, they had nearly the exact same time. So
gap now just starting to open up a little bit. Noah was doing his best to hold on to Liam, but maybe the dam has broken as it goes out to almost 1 second to the advantage of Liam Walsh.
But Blannon had to start and put it straight to Walsh. He couldn't afford to let him get a lead and have to chase it. But Walsh, he has got Jordan Kirby on the track side calling for him. David Betts is calling the time for Noah Blannon. Both of them have a huge amount of experience both on the bike and in coaching.
So Walsh comes through, the gap continues to open, 1.4 seconds. Noah Blannon, question being asked by his crew on the inside of the track. Need to lift if you want this bronze medal. Walsh looking so powerful.
And a much slower cadence, so a much bigger gear you can see with Walsh. It often makes them look very smooth. It doesn't necessarily mean riders on smaller gears, when they look less smooth, are going slower. That is the case here. And that's Blannon, that's what we can see. It's quite a furious pedal rate.
Number of years, difference in age between these two, with Walsh, the senior of the two riders on the track at the moment. That's showing as well. So much time in the national program, and also those Asian races over the last couple of years on the road, building that extra strength that's required to go deep into these races. He now leads by over 2 seconds to Noah Blannon. That will develop in the next couple of seasons. Now he's part of the national team pursuit squad. Noah will certainly improve dramatically over the next 18 months or so.
And Liam Walsh is only 24, so when we say they're more senior, they're both still young riders, but a couple of years can make a world of a difference, and Liam Walsh is really consolidating his lead now.
He'll be able to see his opponent now as he goes down the back straight. Noah Blannon coming into the front straight, and it's over 3 seconds. He knows the bronze medal is coming up in one more lap now for Liam Walsh. Pushing on to try and get some bragging rights. It was so close between the top three in qualifying. So he really wants to let everyone else know that he could have perhaps gone in there for the race for gold and silver against the gold medalist from the team pursuit in Paris, as he comes through with the bronze medal time, 4:10.693. Really good to back up from the 4:09 this afternoon. So Liam Walsh, not just a sprinter, very good against the clock as well.
Very solid ride, and well done to Noah Blannon too. He'll look back at this in a couple of years and feel like he's really progressed. You can certainly see the time progression for a lot of the athletes, and at every step of the way you're like, wow, that's a sensational ride. But remembering last year, 4:16 was his best. He's really improved this year.
Yep, 4:14.9, good backup in the race for bronze. Not that long ago, he was very close to a world record speed. But Liam Walsh, of the two Queenslanders, and he's got the bronze medal.
Oh, look at this beautiful bike.
Well, you'll look across the other side of the track and see another beautiful bike as well, because Ollie Bledden now coming onto the track, Team Pursuit gold medalist, and there's Connor Leahy from Western Australia, his teammate from Paris 2024, both with their gold factor bikes representing those gold medals won at the Paris Olympic Games.
Now, Bledden was the fastest this morning with a 4:9.177, 4:9.566 for Lay, so fairly close. Nothing in it.
Same.
But Lay has the all-time record, the all-comers, and that's a 4:07.356. Now, he did that back in 2022. He's just consistently, year on year, ridden between 4:07 and 4:09. He didn't ride here last year, and it was James Moriarty who took the win. Moriarty not in the competition today. The two Olympic gold medalists racing for the one gold. This is a cracking competition.
It will be an Olympic gold medalist that wins gold in the National Individual Pursuit Championships as fastest qualifier. Oliver Bledden from South Australia up against Western Australian Connor Leahy. Now, I will say, though, preface this, that Ollie Bledden did start in Western Australia, now representing SA. Further proof of how good that Western state has been. Slightly, ever so slightly, quicker start from Connor.
And Ollie Bledden, the last time he raced this event at these championships, he was third. That was in 2023. He did a 4:12.9. That was the year before both of these riders went on to win that Olympic gold medal. They both did take a little bit of a break from the national championship level after the Paris Olympics. Now they are rebuilding. Of course, it's a Commonwealth Games year, and amazingly, it seems strange to say we're within 2 years of an Olympics, but so it is.
Well, Connor taking control of this early on. 0.8 up on Ollie Bledden. He's been a bronze medalist at the National Championships on the road in the time trial, Connor Leahy. 4 times national champion in the individual pursuit, has the Australian record, did that in Santiago, Chile at the World Championships last year, 4:05.9. And the gap continues to grow.
And Leahy is going faster than he did this morning, so that's impressive. He rode a 4:09.440. His all-comers record is a 4:07.
Bit of bluffing this afternoon,
perhaps.
perhaps.
Blow the cobwebs out.
Could be too much bluffing. 3 riders did 4:09. It would be extraordinary if he could have done that. Well, over 2 seconds now. This is massive from Connor. The big Western Australian back on the boards after not doing the time trial, the individual pursuit last year. Wants to prove a point to everybody else. The only thing is last year's gold medalist is not here. So we still have to wait perhaps another 12 months to get those two head-to-head again.
Let's get them all in one room. At the 2 kilometre mark, we'll be able to then compare from what happened this morning. He's going faster than he rode this morning. So on track at the moment for a high 4:07, which would be remarkable.
Well, the championship record, Moriarty at the Nationals last year, 4:08.1. That might be on the cards here. If he gets into the 4:07s, it could be an all-comers record. National record, gee, I don't know, 4:05.9. But he's absolutely motoring around the track.
And this will only gain because you can see Ollie Bledden in shot there. If you hold on just a moment, you'll actually see Connor Lay, and there he is, into shot. He can see Ollie Bledden. He's got something to chase. They came in with Bledden having qualified the fastest, but Lay, wow.
He will get a little bit of slipstream here as well, so this will be a massive advantage. Still 4 laps to go. 3.5 for Connor Leahy as he gets up close to the back of his Olympic Games teammate in Ollie Bledden, and now he's into the slipstreaming position. Bit of drafting, pick up the pace a little bit, just has to get around the outside quickly. They will call this the race win as he reaches his opponent. Here's a pursuit, of course. So that's the win. The gold medal is done, but he wants to post a time. Connor keeps going.
He is on track for the national record, which is 4:05.944. If he can keep this speed, he will be the fastest Australian that has ever competed over this distance.
The challenge for him now, he was in the slipstream. He hunted down his opponent. Now he's out into the wind again, pushing hard to try and bring this one home, trying to keep on the pace. It's going to be a gold medal, that's clear.
It's going to be a record.
And 4:04.062, it is a new national record. Connor Leahy wasn't here at the Nationals last year in the individual pursuit. He's come back to prove a point. Number 1, absolutely, Connor. You are the best we have ever seen from Australia.
That was unbelievable. That was so rapid. With 2 kilometres to go, I thought, geez, on a pretty good one.
He looks
Pretty solid notch here. But he just kept getting faster and faster. He really didn't falter at all. A little bow to the crowd. He's quite a showman, isn't he?
Still plenty of energy in the tank to be able to play up to the crowd somewhat, but new national record, the fastest 4,000 metre pursuitist Australia has ever seen. The multiple times national champion, Olympic Games gold medalist Connor Leahy from Western Australia. The big man is back and better than ever before. Well, there you go, first night of competition, and that's what it's produced. The depth of talent in Australia.
Not bad. I do love these moments. I must say it is really quite a pleasure to be able to witness these moments of history. And every time we've seen these records break, in the moment you think, wow, okay, that'll stand for a long time. How do you go faster than that? And then we see it again.
Yeah, next year he'll be back.
Yep, he'll be back. The fastest ever ridden before was James Moriarty. That was at Santiago in Chile at the World Championships last year. You commentated that, Scott. That would have been an incredible moment to watch an Australian ride a 4:05.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, so many good performances. And doing the World Feed commentary at the World Championships, of course, non-bias across all the events and at that highest level, so good to see it. And James has been the underdog as well. Unfortunately not here racing, but underdog, just missing out on the Olympic Games. He was the 5th man, only 4 selected in Paris, but he continued on, won the title here last year, got the national record, as you mentioned, in Santiago. I think I did say it was Connor that got that, but it was, James, of course. And now Connor fights it back again, snatches it back from underneath James. It might be the motivation that Moriarty needs to get back again here on the track.
And for all the years that Connor has won a gold medal here in this very event, it was 2022 that was the fastest for him, a 4:07. The rest have been consistently 4:08s, 4:09s, but it would mean a huge amount for him after so many years riding there or thereabouts to take a big chunk. That's 3.5 seconds off his PB.
That's huge.
It's massive. All right, well, if that's night 1 times, what's going to happen when it's 33 degrees up here on Friday? The Velodrome gets faster usually when it's hotter.
I'm not sure if you can hear it through your speakers, but Tears for Fears, everyone wants to rule the world in the background, playing through the venue here, and Connor Leahy, he wants to rule the world. Fastest Australian we've ever seen. What can he do when he gets back onto the world stage later this year? You had to be an Olympic champion if you wanted to win the individual pursuit at the national championships. And that indeed is what Connor Leahy is.
And we'll have some presentations coming up. There's 2 more gold medals up for grabs this evening, and that is the women's under-19 sprint final and the points race. But here it is, a moment of history and a moment of realisation for Connor Leahy that he is not only national champion but has the record too.
And looking to see when he sees it. There it is. He gets to look up at the scoreboard here inside the Meares Velodrome and realise he is the fastest we've ever seen. What a great track this is. See so many good times. There's no altitude advantage, so typically, historically, the fastest times ever have always been done at velodromes that are at altitude, and there's a new one now in Turkey that has become the quickest track that all the records are falling at.
And that you go to for records in Konya.
Yep, and that's where we saw Matthew Richardson break the 200-metre record. Women's record as well was broken there for 200.
Both of the team's pursuits as well.
Yep.
Denmark in the men's and Great Britain in the women's.
Medal ceremony now. We saw the men's tandem. What a fantastic battle that was between the South Australians and the Western Australians. And Kane Paris alongside Luke Zachariah. A silver medal for them for Western Australia. And Bo Wooten on the top step with Byron Davies. Now, Byron himself is a Queenslander, but representing SA as the pilot for Bo Wooten. Great competition between both of these teams, really tight in the qualifying. West Aussies did get the first race win and South Australia bouncing back to win the following two to claim the title. Shows that we've got great competition, which will be very handy to push each other as we go towards the Commonwealth Games.
Oh, it'll be great at Commonwealth Games because the Commonwealth has so many very strong teams. And it's sensational for Australia. Oh, look at that, brothers.
So we will get to see brother Josh interviewing big bro Byron, along with Bo Wooten.
Strong day, a national record day. How does that feel, Bo?
It's amazing. I've been on the back of that tandem. It's like a roller coaster, to be honest, being aluminium. It's so fun to go flat out with Byron. I'm so happy today.
Awesome, thanks, Bo. And took it to 3 rides in the final there against Luke, Zachariah and Kane Meares. How'd you get over the top in that last one?
I knew we kind of just had a bit of the length left, so just had to keep it firm the whole way and kind of give it everything to the end, and yeah, paid off.
And finally, Bo, how's it feel to put the jersey on again?
Oh, unreal. I'm speechless, to be honest. And to have Byron back with me is just, speechless today.
Awesome. Great work, boys.
Somewhat unique occasion there for Josh to interview his brother Byron. What a great ride it was from Byron with Bo Wooten. Back onto the boards though once again. April Patty, the Queenslander, under 19, up against Madeline Pitt from Western Australia. So Maddie, Western Australian, one up in the best of 3 for the bronze medal in the under 19 women's sprint competition. But they reverse their starting order when they come up onto the track. So will that play any factor?
April Patty wearing the maroon for Queensland. Madeline Pitt in the black and gold for Western Australia.
So Pitt with 1 win, and therefore 1 win away from the bronze medal. April Patty needs to win this and the next, and I did think they were slightly out of order because I thought April was in position 1 the first time, and the awkward way of trying to manoeuvre when you're locked into your bike on a fixed gear.
That is quite awkward. And they don't, we discuss this often because people say, why are they so close together up near the fence? Well, they don't have to be, they choose to be. So both of the riders, as long as the rider taking the lead is at the bottom and the second rider is at the top, they can sit wherever they like.
So in the theory there is the first rider, position 1, lines up right at the bottom of the track. You're always, as the second rider, going to go right to the very top because you've got that extra elevation if you wanted to attack right from the start with a downhill run. That would be difficult to overcome. So get as high as possible for both riders. So Pitt it is from Western Australia that leads. Come around to get 2 laps to go. Patty up and down the track in second position. She must win this to force a decider. The race for bronze here in the under-19 women.
And both riders beating faster riders through the competition to find themselves up for a medal here.
Fairly sizable gap between these two as they come to the bell. Maddie Pitt was able to come around the outside in the first one, leading now this time as they go down the back straight. And here comes Patty, closing the gap down. Big fight from Maddie Pitt on the front to try and hold her off, but April Patty from Queensland, downhill run off the top of the banking and gets there. So it's 1 race apiece in the race for bronze. Both riders been able to come over the top to get the win. So that will be fascinating when it comes to tactics when they come back onto the track in that final race.
That was a very good turn of speed, like a good late rush from Patty. 1 apiece. And it does show every track has its own characteristics. This is a track known for being able to have a good run from second wheel. Some tracks are known for being more lead-out tracks. But also what I love about having the under-19 racing combined is a lot of the time they throw all the rules out. So every rule we might say in the elite competition, they are still learning, they are still trying different things and seeing what works for them.
Good sprinting, though, as we see the race for gold coming up now. And Paige Squire from South Australia, she's one up in the best of 3. Emily Watch from ACT. So changing of the order as well, the start order for these 2 riders.
So Squire took the first win in the first race for gold, best of 3. Watch needs to take this win to stay in the hunt.
Squire was happy to lead in the first race. She hugged the bottom of the track and accelerated very late as they came to the bells. It was a very short sprint in the previous one.
A Watch came very quickly in that final 20 metres, even another metre further, and Watch would have had it. It came down to, it was a clear in the photo finish, albeit still a number of centimetres that did require a photo. So Squire keen to lead again. We're revisiting it. Watch knows if she goes just a little bit earlier, she might be able to time that run and take a win off Squire and stay in the hunt for the gold medal.
Much tighter between these 2 riders with a lap and a half to go. Paige Squire in the commanding position. Not too much pressure on the pedals. It's going to be another very short sprint. Sound of the bell. They haven't even accelerated yet. Now they get out of the saddle. Full pressure through the pedals as they go around the first bend. Gap opening up a little bit. Still in the slipstream as Watch goes down the back straight. But Paige Squire from South Australia, she's going to win gold from here. Too much to overcome. Solid victory from her.
And a gold medal to young Paige Squire.
Comfortable.
In her second year in the under-19s, they are looking for a spot at the Junior World Championships. They are looking for inclusion from the senior coaches for training camps and opportunities. And you can see that Squire didn't make the mistake here of underestimating Emily Watch, which she nearly did in that first round. Powers all the way to the line. And Watch had a good run, but just could not gain the necessary ground on Squire.
Watch was coming, but time ran out.
I'll pay that.
So a new gold medalist in the under-19 category, Paige Squire. And you can see how pumped she is.
That's sensational. We are yet to find out who's going to take away the bronze. They will race to a third. But with a bit of a break for Pitt and Patty, because we have the under-19 men coming out on track for the points race final. There's 18 riders.
As the young ladies coming off the track to get this last race up onto the boards. Good win there from Paige Squire. Emily Watch just not quite getting the timing right. So 100 laps still to come as the under-19 men come up for the points race. This is always a fascinating race, the under-19 men. Good solid field, 18 riders. All lined up, about to come up onto the boards. You see the South Australians, 4 of them out there in the red colours. And perhaps somewhat controversially, you know, this is to be raced as an individual event, but they line up in their state colours. So tactics often does come out to play.
And there might not be obvious help, but it might not be, well, we won't necessarily drag you for sprints, but we also won't chase you if you're in a breakaway. The commissars do keep an eye out for that, anything too outrageous, and they will call them out for that.
Yeah, it's not working for, but perhaps just not working against.
There certainly
sometimes
is a
it's
balance.
sometimes it's just open slather. Now the Victorians, typically, tactically a very good squad, the Victorians.
Well, Ollie Jurovec, with number 116 on his back from Victoria, he was the silver medalist here last year. He's the only one from the Podium, who is back this year. So that was a big result from him for a first year under 19.
Yep, 1-6, there he is, Ollie Jurovic. Been a handy rider in the Pro Velo Super League as well as a young rider, so certainly a rider that stands out in that start list. Shout out to Oscar Schoff from Queensland. Not too distant relative of mine. The McGroys and the Schoffs go way back.
Oh well, good luck, Oscar.
So the top of the track there, number 91 from New South Wales, Gabrielle Jacobson. I say Jacobson because we're in Australia. I imagine it originally would have been a Jacobson. Bottom of the track is Zach Douglas Savage, Queenslander.
You know what they say about him?
No, what do they say?
He's savage.
He is.
Come
He's
on,
brutal.
you led me
Oh,
into
come on.
that.
It had to be brutal, not savage. But he's perhaps both. He'll want to be on the track tonight. He's absolutely going to give it something. Douglas Savage. George Tucker sits in behind him. Queensland at the top of the track. There's Oscar. Oscar Schoff has mentioned, the Queenslander with the white helmet. They had Will Brown sitting behind him. Jack Sloan followed him as well. Angus Gulick from Tasmania. And as the under-19 men get themselves underway, good spread of riders here. 100 laps, first lap neutral. As long as they're all together, we will get going. Sprint every 10 laps of the track for points. 5, 3, 2 and 1. If you gain a lap on the field, you'll get 20 points added to your total. And double points on the final sprint, 10, 6, 4 and 2.
So keep up if you can. We will update the points so you can play along at home. And they do show them on the scoreboard now. They didn't used to do that, so you would have to do a little bit of arithmetic in your own head, which I felt like added a little bit of fun to it. But they do show it on the board now, although sometimes knowing where you stand on the points doesn't mean you can necessarily do anything about it.
Now, the three South Australians at the back of the bunch there, I was just having a quick close look at them to see how we can differentiate them. They've got the same helmets, the same bikes, the same socks and shoes, and it's only the numbers that are hard to see that we can tell them apart. So this will be the challenge as the under-19 lads get themselves going, and a good speed right from the start here.
Well, the fastest this event has ever been ridden was in 2024, where they did the 25 kilometres in 29 minutes.
Wow. Yep.
So the usual time is around the 31-minute mark, but certainly with the way this race has started, it looks like they are planning to keep the pressure on. In most instances, 6 to 8 riders will not be able to finish the race after losing laps and with that increased pace. But we're starting with 18 here tonight.
Just a little gap opening up at the back there, and it was the man we mentioned before, Ollie Jurovic. It might have a couple of riders that are really focusing on him as a sort of pre-race favourite. It's too hard to tell, though. The under-19s at national championship level is a little bit of a lottery.
Well, it changes so quickly, and year on year they can have such big improvements. So they also change their riding style as well.
So 2 Western Australians out there.
They're
Cooper Dunlop.
They're very distinctive in their yellow and black.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cooper Dunlop is the first of those 2. And he's got the black helmet on, the silver helmet. Patrick Sipkowski from Western Australia. Apologies to the Sipkowski family if I've butchered that one. That's definitely a Scrabble winning name.
It is. I mean, you're not allowed to use names in Scrabble, though. That's the only...
Oh, if you look at that, it doesn't look like a name.
That's the bummer.
Eastern European, perhaps Polish, from Western Australia. Here is midfield as we come to our first of our intermediate sprints. And it's Ollie Ward, South Australian, with a big gap down the back straight. Look over the shoulder from him, just trying to gauge the accelerator a little bit. Not trying to go too deep and waste too much energy, but does comfortably enough to pick up the 5 points.
And Sorry, he actually won the gold medal last year, Ollie Ward. I didn't notice him on the start list when we were just skimming over it. So we have our gold and our silver medalists from last year, both an Oliver and an Ollie, so that'll make it both easy and confusing.
Well, on that, I'm going to put Ollie Jurovic into second favourite. And we'll put Ollie Ward, the winner of that first sprint, up to being warm the favourite. Good start from him.
It's a really good way when you come in with a bit of a target on your back, having won in this event last year. It's a good way to say to everybody, guys, this is my race. Like,
yeah, you're all racing for second. You've
got to beat me. Yeah. And look what I can do. And I think he did a very effective job at that, because he also looked quite comfortable. He didn't sprint over the top to get the points. He just led out. It was quite a comfortable 5 points for him.
Max Nussbaum, Victorian, second place for him, 3 points. Zach Douglas Savage from Queensland in third, 2 points for him. And Ollie Jurovic, the man we've mentioned already a couple of times, 1 point. So he's on the board. 2 medalists from last year in that first sprint. Pace comes off, 86 to go.
There's different styles of points race riders. Some like to get points in every sprint, whether it's the 5 for the win or the 1 point for fourth place. They just like to be there and consistent. And then you have other riders who you won't see it all in the first half, and then who will go points chasing and also lap chasing toward the second half of the race.
Average tempo, you would say for now, just cruising through, not too slow, but certainly not a hot pace for this level of competition. They'll start thinking about the next sprint. They'll come around and get 83 laps to go, and really starting to think about making sure they're in the right position, trying to conserve as much energy as possible, but there are moments when you just have to fight hard to make sure you're in the right spot to have any chance of picking up points. Douglas Savage down the bottom of the track, second position for him. It's Nussbaum, the Victorian. And here comes Ollie Jurovic over the top. So the two Victorians now first and second position. Might just look to protect each other a little bit. Is it Ward that comes over the top once again, the South Australian? It is indeed. He wants to get 2 sprint wins from 2 efforts. Jurovic down the back straight, chasing him. Nussbaum, who was second in the first sprint, in third position. Then it's Douglas Savage from Queensland, and a crash right at the very back as Ward picks up the points. So that's a perfect score for Ollie Ward. Ollie Jurovic on the points as well, and that's unfortunately Oscar Schoff, Queenslander. 2 riders have come down, and Oscar, hope he's okay. Just having a quick glimpse of him. There was a bit of a twist of the hands, like, I'm hurting a little bit, but I think I'm okay.
They're receiving medical attention, and the commissaires moving their bikes off the side of the track to make sure that they are both safe, but also the riders still in the race are safe. I can tell you that Oscar Schoff, he is not yet on his feet, but he is looking okay. It's never great to see any of the riders down, but they're looking all right.
Now the race itself continues as they go past the crash zone. You can see Oscar in the background standing up. And a big move.
This is Will Brown from South Australia. His teammate Ollie Ward. Jack Sloan, it is.
Jack Sloan, and he's half a lap up. So the South Australians have come to the front of the peloton just to marshal the speed a little bit here. So this is a huge advantage. We spoke about the numbers of representatives per state, and South Australia with 4 riders in this race working the numbers well.
That's the front of the race we're seeing, but you will notice in a moment, just coming into the back of shot, there is the front of race. He's about to take a lap already. He has overlapped Delathea, who was already a lap down, but he's not too far off the back of the main peloton, so that's meaningful.
Left of the shot now, there's Jack Sloan trying to get to that group in front. He'll be declared a lap. gain, and 20 points will go to the total, and he'll go right to the very top of the leaderboard. But there is a real scramble in front of that peloton that he's chasing. 4 riders are off the front going for it as Sloan just getting closer and closer to the back of the peloton. He should be able to get there now. There's 4 riders that he's catching, so they have completely blown around the race. Right-hand side, that's Oscar Schoff. No longer able to continue in the race after that crash, unfortunately. But Sloan has made contact with that group of 4. And it's up to the race officials now as they determine that's a lap gain or not. Next sprint has been indicated for the chase group.
The race is now effectively in 3 pieces. This is the front of the race we're seeing now.
And that was the sprint to the line, 3 across the track. We'll wait for the confirmation on the configuration it was as they came across the line.
And that was...
There's the crash just in the back there. So you can see those 2 riders coming together, and both of them unfortunately unable to continue in the race. So Ward had 10 points coming into that decisive moment.
So through the sprint, it was Douglas Savage and Schoff, both Queenslanders, Patrick Schapowski from WA, and Jack Sloan. Ollie Ward. So Jack Sloan took the lap. They haven't reflected that on the standings yet, but that's after sprint 2. We've had 3 sprints. That will update soon. The bunch is all back together.
And they're now just trying to configure who did gain laps and who didn't. We saw the individual lap gain, of course, and there was certainly a part of that group that eased up as well. Delatier, you can see minus 40 points after losing 2 laps on the field. And with that, they typically do ask those riders to leave the track when they're 2 laps down. Out in front, though, that's what we're focusing on. The bunch all together, waiting for the final confirmation of the lap gain from Jack Sloan. We saw it happen. What an effort it was. Bit of a team performance in that one, as much as an individual lap gain can be. But there was some assistance given from inside the peloton. Smart riding so far from South Australia, dominating this race.
They're putting their options out there between Jack Sloan and Ollie Ward, William Brown. They really do have a very strong squad, and they each deserve their own opportunity as well. And that is what we're seeing. You see Ward is looking for the points. Sloan is like, I'm not going to go against you in the points, but I'm going to seek laps. And we'll see that. There you go. It's been updated to reflect Sloan has those points.
And the split in the peloton, then once they re-emerge, then no one else gained an advantage. So Sloan straight to the top of the leaderboard, and South Australia dominating.
And it will update soon with that 3rd sprint as well. We're about to come into the 4th sprint.
Come around for the bell this time. South Australia once again on the front. Oscar Schoff it is that's coming back over the top here, back into the race. I thought he was out of it, but he's back in there, so this is good. Maybe it wasn't Oscar that crashed earlier. So Oscar Schoff powers over the top. He'll pick up the 5 points here.
Alec Guglielmici, the South Australian, another one. Gee, they're a strong team. He took the 2nd points there. And Team South Australia are really using all of their options. So disregard those sprints at the moment, the standings, because they're not quite updated.
Just to say, it wasn't Schoff, it was Douglas Savage. So Schoff definitely is out of the race, unfortunately. But Zach Douglas Savage, so good ride from him. Pick up the 5 points there.
And it's when we're warning you to not look at those standings as updated as the commissaires are working to get that updated, the riders are also seeing that on the board. So if they're not careful and they look up at the board, so even though they do have that, they do really need to pay attention to what's happening themselves. Another breakaway here. Zach Douglas Savage, he's been getting some great sprint points, Scott, so he's trying like the multi-pronged attack.
Well, and this is, when you look at the body language, he's off the front, the peloton, you can see, eased up, so this is a big advantage for him. And while the attack was significant, he's really fortunate they've eased off this much because it doesn't look like he's got a great amount of speed out there, but the peloton is so slow. He's still gaining the back of them, so this could be the next lap gain taken here.
And gaining a lap isn't just about what you do, it's about what the peloton decides to do as well. He's kind of digging post holes, but he'll come into the back of shot in a moment, and they will give him 20 points, but we do have another 2 who have jumped away in the meantime.
Yep, Cooper Dunlop and Angus Gullick from Tasmania, as Douglas Savage from Queensland gains a lap, and gee, that only took four laps or so. That was extraordinary.
Aided by the peloton. And this is our solo Tasmanian rider out there, Angus Gullick.
So Cooper Dunlop and Angus Gullick, Western Australia and Tasmania off the front. They are now the leaders on the track as they come towards the next of the sprints. 52 to go for them. They'll get the belt next time around. And if the peloton keep doing this, there's going to be so many laps gained because while we focus on the 2 out in front, there's not a lot of pace on back in the main field. They'll come around to get the belt this time. So they have this one between them. The gap is too big for anyone else to be in contention. Peloton out of it. There's our leaders. Gullick it is that leads. Dunlop in second position. Peloton won't get any points here because another 2 riders have got off the front of this group. There's first and second for the sprint. How will they finish this one? Bell goes to the peloton, and it will be Dunlop, sorry. Dunlop picks up the 5.
And Gullick with the 3.
And this is for third and fourth. And that was Guglielmucci, I think it was, from South Australia. So he picked up the 3rd place there and the 2 points. But the lap is really on here again. So we've already seen 2 laps taken. This could be the next of them. Peloton starting to string things out. They're going to make it really difficult for Cooper Dunlop.
It was George Tucker from Queensland who took the 1 point in that last sprint, so his first points on the board. Worth noting, we're past the halfway mark. We're looking at around 30 minutes for 25 kilometres. The race record is 29 minutes, but most of them drop out to about 31. They're moving. It doesn't just look like they're moving quick. They actually are moving quick. And when we're starting to see some knotty heads and some tired legs,
this does not look good. This does not look good for our 2 leaders. 47 to go. It looked as if they were about to get in contact with the back of the peloton, but they have blown. So look at the speed now in the main field. They picked up the 2 riders that were in between as well. Still the 2 out in front, but they are not working together.
Well, Gullick wants to go, but he needs a little bit of help. Dunlop he's done. He's toast. The peloton now, look at the speed that is coming. Team South Australia, they have so many options. You'll see them duck into the back of shot in a moment, and you can see the breakaway has been shut down now.
So 45 to go. The 2 leaders are back in the fold. So Dunlop and Gullick have been caught. So close to gaining a lap. Didn't quite work out for them. But look at the scramble.
It just shows that it's not just about your efforts. It's what the peloton chooses to do.
So Nussbaum at the top of the track for Victoria. And George Tucker, who was in between and picked up a point in the previous sprint, out the back now, trying to get back into the main group. Finally, the pace has come back off, and it's time for them to take a deep breath. 43 to go. They can start thinking about the next sprint, because it's coming up in 2 laps' time. So Douglas Savage, just down the bottom of the track, perhaps thinking about sneaking away, and he is. He didn't realise he had a gap then until he looked over his shoulder. No one bothered to follow.
He might not be too pumped about it. He took a lap earlier, and in similar style, he went, and the peloton hesitated. Team South Australia will want to get on this quick sticks, and that is what we will see. There they are, the 3 riders in red.
Well, Nussbaum is coming over the top of them as well as Douglas Savage gets the bell at 41 to go. Should have enough perhaps to hold on here, but Nussbaum is absolutely motoring down the back straight trying to catch him. Zach trying to hold on. He will indeed. So he'll pick up the 5 points. He's the overall leader. He'll extend that lead now as it's Will Brown once again that comes across to finish second just ahead of Nussbaum.
I mean, Douglas Savage, his biggest effort, you can see he's down the bottom there. He's the rider at the very back of that group of 5. is in all sorts. He needs to hang on. And you know he's in all sorts because he's looking down at his legs as if to say, come on now, what are you doing? It's not going to help you looking at them, young man. If he can just find some good wheels, he's in a really great position, and Team South Australia really need to step it up.
Ollie Jurovic from Victoria it is. It's been a real scramble and a big sprint previously. Perfect time to attack if you have the legs, and that's what Jurovic is doing now. Second last year. He's got a bit of work to do because he's down in 5th place, only 6 points. But look at the gap that he's opened up.
And you're seeing the fatigue really start to set in. You're running out of people to chase. Jurovic, he knows how to be productive in a points race, and there he is. Look at the speed that he's carrying. He's still super comfortable.
He's not slowing down at all at 36 to go. And that's the peloton. Jack Sloan is just in front of them from South Australia. So there's no coordinated effort to try and shut this move down from Jurovic. Sensational move at 35 to go from the Victorian.
And he blew past Jacobson. He's just gone past Gullick. These are riders who have been jettisoned off the back of the peloton, so he's still not there to give him those 20 points. He is the front of the race.
Oh, he's starting to hurt.
Oh, it's painful to watch because as the peloton increase their speed and he drops his, what looked like an unassailable lead on the way to getting a lap is now running out.
The head dropping a little bit, waving the shoulders for Ollie Jurovic. He has half a lap advantage. Been a huge effort. We thought he was going to go all the way around, but the peloton just now getting a little bit more coordinated. And while they're not desperately chasing, they're just keeping the tempo, the average speed up enough to make it really difficult for an individual to try and gain anything.
He's still about half a lap off the back, and Patrick Schapowski from Western Australia, you'll see him come into shot soon. He is in hot pursuit of Jurovic.
Well, Jurovic will definitely pick up the 5 points this time around. That's no question. But Schapowski really closing down. There's a group just behind them as well. This is what's left of the main field, well and truly out of this one, and still in danger of allowing Jurovic to take a lap here and pick up the 20 points. There's the 5 for Jurovic as he crosses the line. Second is Patrick Schapowski. And then number 97 is the next to come across is Oscar Schoff. So good points gain there for Oscar. Nussbaum is also attacking. So the peloton trying to hold off Jurovic. The dominance of South Australia perhaps being wiped away here. They are still in first. They're still in second and third position.
Well, Ollie Ward is also in that chasing group coming from behind, but
here it comes. Here comes the lap gain. So just coming to the back of the shot, there he is, the Victorian Ollie Jurovic. Now that has been a really tough one. I can tell you what's happened behind him is Max Nussbaum has come across as well. The 2 Victorians, you see Max just in the very background there. So Jurovic gets 20 points for gaining a lap. Nussbaum about to do likewise. So really good move from Max.
And then next through, Oscar Schoff and Ollie Ward are only about 50 metres off the back as well. There they are. So if they can hustle a little, they'll also grab 20 points. I am glad I am not the point keeper.
Yes, normally falls to the timekeeper. Here it's the point keeper. Another attack's gone off the front. It's the next of the Victorian. So Sam Hudson has attacked as well. This is now the leading group on the track. So Oscar Schoff, the Queenslander, they're about to get to the back of the peloton as well.
So Schoff and Ward, they are now back in, and the front of the race, well, that is now Jack Sloan and Sam Hudson. So South Australia and Victoria.
So Sloan, if they can get this lap now, the South Australian, that will keep him at the top.
Patrick Schapowski, he's also out there. So there's 3 that are seeking this lap. Queensland, they're coming from behind as well, not content to let so many in there. You can see them at the front of that shot. These are our 3 leaders trying, but they're sort of giving up. This isn't not a really determined effort from this trio.
They were able to chase the back wheel of each other, but now they're out there just not strong enough and coordinated enough to work together. Look at that, drifting up the track. They've got 3 riders about to get across them. This is the scramble back in the main field. 22 to go, and they are all over the track here. 6 riders coming together out in front. They are the leaders now on the track, but you can see no coordination.
And Douglas Savage was up there. He's sitting in 2nd overall at the moment, but you know, we flagged that in order for him to stay on the podium, he just needs to hang on through what is this chaotic madness.
Absolutely, as they come into the next sprint now, down the back straight. And it's the 2nd place getter at the moment in Zach Dub Savage that goes down into, he's about to be overtaken though by Patrick Sipkalski. So the West Australian picks up the maximum points that time through. And if they can stick together here and keep working, they are not too far from the peloton. So this is another big game changer.
It will. Zachary Douglas Savage, he just swung off. He's the Queenslander in the maroon. I mean, you can see from the body language, he is in all sorts, but he has been like that for a little while, and he's still kept on keeping on. If he can get the others to work equally with him, because the effort is there that he's putting in, but you can see the fatigue is loading up, but he's just put himself in absolutely plumb position.
Well, Ollie Ward, up until this point, was the race leader on 31 points. But he was in the main field, and they've now been caught by that group. So all of those riders will get another 20 points added. So that changes who's going to be leading this race. And Zach Douglas Savage it is. 48 points, becomes the new leader ahead of Jack Sloan on 40. Then it's Ollie Ward on 31. Nussbaum 27. Jurovic on 26. So the Queenslander flew under the radar, Zach Douglas Savage. Not anymore.
What a sensational ride, because you can tell that he's really having to work very hard to get it done, and I absolutely love that, because not every style looks the same, and he's tenacious and puts himself in the right positions. So I'm hoping that he can continue to do that.
Well, this is Tucker, who's out the back of the race at the moment, and the points in the last one, as we saw, Sipkalski, the Western Australian, picked up the 5 points just before they made contact. So he's put himself up into 7th place now, equals 7th place on 25.
Well, this is the main peloton, but in front of them we have 3 riders, including Ollie Ward.
Ward sits 3rd overall on 31 points, so this is a significant move. Max Nussbaum is there as well.
And Oscar Schoff. So they don't necessarily have the imperative to work together, because they're all there or thereabouts, but none of them are in the winning position right at the moment. That goes to Douglas Savage.
And look, and Oscar, you know, he knows his Queensland teammate, Zach Douglas Savage. He is the overall leader. He'd be happily taken around for a lap, but he may not want to be pushing the pedals too much himself.
And there is a difference. There's 2 sprints left, remembering that the final sprint is double points. So the situation can still change. But Douglas Savage, if no laps are taken, even if he doesn't score any points, he will still get at worst a silver medal. So great position for him. Jack Sloan is the one that can beat him.
So scramble for the next sprint now. There you can see 5 riders about to come together in the front, and 11 laps to go. The next bell sounds. Oscar Schoff it is that comes through. The Queenslander leads the way. Nussbaum chases him as the remainder of the field get 1 lap to go, but down the back straight it's Oscar Schoff that leads. That's the peloton. They're well and truly out of this as they come around to complete the lap, and Nussbaum is coming to crash in the back straight. So crash in the back straight, but it was Nussbaum that picked up the sprint points ahead of Oscar Schoff.
And that was just a touch of wheels. That wasn't the front of the race. He is up. The front of the race is now what we just saw on screen going through the start-finish.
So our leaders head down the back straight. This is the last group on the track. So there's the remainder, what was you call what's left of the peloton, as they pick up the points there. Tucker, Nussbaum, Schoff.
Oh, Tucker's a couple of laps down as well. So it's all over the shop at the moment. It's really hard for the riders as well to keep up on not only what the points are, but where everybody is.
So this is our lead group now. It's Ollie Jurovic that leads. Schoff.
Douglas Savage at the front, wearing number 93, and it's his gold medal to lose at this point.
So one more sprint to come.
He's emboldened, I think, by how close it's coming to the end of the race, because he's working really hard, but he's putting himself in all the right positions, and he's riding a really good defensive back end. It shows a lot of maturity for the young rider.
So here's the replay. You can see touch of wheels, lack of concentration slightly. Not too much harm done. As Ollie Jurovic with a small advantage, trying to get up to that lead South Australian rider. Coming around now for 4 laps to go, and it's Jurovic that leads. Oscar Schoff in second position. Then it's Douglas Savage in third. The 2 Queenslanders in second and third spot. Max Nussbaum in fourth. A little bit further back. And Jurovic swings up.
Douglas Savage, he swings up, goes back into third wheel. He is the incumbent gold medalist. If it continues, he can't be beaten at this point unless Jack Sloan gets the 10 points and Douglas Savage gets none. That's the only scenario that would change.
And with 2 laps to go, you look to see where Jack Sloan is on the track. And he is off the back of that lead group, so he's going to be out of this in terms of the 10 points, you would think, although he's just come to the back of the group now. Big move from Max Nussbaum, though, the Victorian, who goes off the front. He's on 30 points. He can get himself up into the medals here. Might be able to get the silver if he's lucky. Down the back straight, it's Nussbaum, the Victorian, that's on his way to picking up the 10. Douglas Savage tries to step out the front of the peloton, but Nussbaum is going to come away with the final 10-point sprint here. That'll put him up to 40 points. So it depends on how it all falls between the rest of them. Jurovic gets 6 points for second, but it will be Zach Douglas Savage that comes away with the gold medal in the under-19 men's points race. 69 points in total, never in doubt from him. Ollie Ward, second place with 51. Oscar Schoff as they've corrected the points from the laps game before, third on 47. So the fantastic sprint from Nussbaum at the end to no avail, because Oscar Schoff gets himself the bronze medal with Ollie Ward silver and Zach Douglas Savage the gold.
What a fantastic race. Ollie Ward, of course, our winner from last year, but Zach Douglas Savage, just too good. Sensational ride from him, because it was about 50 laps to go that we said, he really needs to take a deep breath and hold on here. But what incredible tenacity, not just to hold on, but to continue to put himself in the right position and ride a really defensive race to maintain that. So sensational, and a big points differential at the end there too.
Yeah, there was a real scramble at the end to settle the dust from the laps gained once that flew up onto the top of the points tally, and all settled with Douglas Savage, the gold medal. Tucker was out there off the front for a couple of laps, picked up one of the points, the maximum point sprints. But Queensland with a gold here on night one with Douglas Savage in the under-19 men's points race. Ollie Ward from South Australia second, and Oscar Schoff, my second cousin. You think I have to clarify that with the fam. It's Oscar Schoff.
Oh, he's on the podium. He could be a first cousin for that.
He stepped up in the ranks. He has. Oscar with the bronze, so fantastic.
There were a couple of touches of wheels, but everybody got up and re-entered the race, which is great. The commissaires, they had a
job to do tonight.
Wow.
They had a job to do. There was so much going on, and finally, once the dust settled.
And there has been conversation about what happens on the scoreboard, even at international level at World Championships.
Oh, there was a big discussion last year at the World Championships.
Because should the riders rely on the scoreboard information? My view is no. Because the scoreboard is there for the spectators and you as a rider. And I know that is a hard call, and I know that that's tough to keep up sometimes, but that's kind of your responsibility as a rider. But I'm curious as to your view.
I think when it gets as hectic as that, I think you should, if you're in a sport, you should know where you sit. And if the only way to do that in a race like that is to have the correct points on the board. That's the only way. And I know in all the Madisons over road, it was always about looking to the scoreboard to see where you sit, to work out what your tactics are. if it's too confusing for the riders to know how they're going to finish, then we've got a problem. So I think the scoreboard becomes very much an important factor. Another race to happen though, because we saw a race apiece in the race for the bronze medal in the under-19 women's, and this will now be the last race on the program tonight, the decider for bronze. So April Patty from Queensland and Madeline Pitt. Winner takes the bronze. Will it be Queensland or Western Australia? And April did see her teammate just come away with that under-19 men's points race win.
Well, very close in qualification. Both of them have sprinted ahead of their qualification, getting through to this bronze medal round. They're both quite tenacious young riders, so I love this pair up actually. Like it makes for very good racing, which is why we are where we are here. April Patty in second wheel, Madeline Pitt leading from Western Australia. Very comfortable up the track. She's shown that she's got very good skills already through this competition.
Very slow, completing the first half lap, teasing us with the possibility of a track stand, balancing act. That's not going to happen now. Come around to get 2 laps to go, and it's Madeline Pitt. Western Australian leads. Starting to build up the pace now with April Patty in second position. Just giving a bit of a gap here, Patty. Doesn't want to give too much. Both riders high on the track. It's almost like a flying 200-metre time trial here. And the bell sounds, the final lap. It's a race for the bronze medal, and Madeline Pitt will get to the line first. Patty in the slipstream now. Got to get the timing right quickly up onto the outside. Big fight down the back straight. Pitt out of the saddle once more to really kick those pedals harder. She's got the inside run. Pitt will have the downhill run to the line, and we'll get there. It was close. I've called it. Pitt on the outside. She thinks she's won it.
So, did April Patty, the Queenslander, did she get over the top of Pitt? I think she did.
She's called it on the scoreboard. April Patty.
Yeah, there's the throw. That was... Oh, it's still very close, though. It actually, from a couple of metres out, it looked like that throw would get her a little bit further, but sensational.
It's April Patty, the Queenslander, that gets the win. So that's the bronze medal for her.
Bit of inspo watching Douglas Savage in the junior men's points race. So 2 from 2. Medals-wise, she'll take home the bronze medal.
Yeah, the Queenslanders will be happy. Night 1 here in Brisbane. So good sprinting for the under-19s. Good to see the amount of depth that's coming through. It's the last of the races, still the presentation. So hang around. We'll get to see the riders up on the presentation dais very soon. Get to hear from them as well. Always good to put a name, a face and a voice to the riders we're seeing on the tracks. And you don't get to see, in cycling these days with the helmets and the visors, you don't get to really identify who these athletes are as much. It's really those presentations and the interviews that we get with the winners where you really get to see who they are.
It's nice to see the helmets come off and see their faces and see them as humans.
Absolutely. Plenty of races still to come for the under-19s. It's a big week here in Brisbane.
What a great start. We've seen records fall. Yep. Incredible ride from Connor Leahy.
A couple of Olympic Games gold medalists here at the National Championships in that front row.
Just hanging out, having a chat.
Yep. And so Connor and Ollie Bledden both riding for the same Brennan team in the Pro Velo Super Leagues of our national series. And Liam Walsh rides for their direct opponent in Case Body Wrap. So good to see they're in the national team together. They are friends, having a good old chat there. But when they get on the bike here at the national level on the road, it is head-to-head racing. Ollie Bledden wrapped up the overall Pro Velo Super League last weekend at the Q Tour. He had pneumonia a couple of years ago, which did keep him out for a good 6 to 8 months. And He had a bit of a false start to his elite racing. Pneumonia really did sidetrack him for a little while, and great to see him fight back to the very top. So the women's 1,000-metre time trial presentation. And from the under-19 category now up into the elites, Ella Liang with the bronze medal. Likewise for Nicole Duncan, world champion in the under-19s only a couple of years ago. That was in the scratch race though. But last year's winner, back-to-back new national record, and a fantastic ride by Claudia Marks to win gold. The change of distance from 500 to 1,000, suiting her perfectly. She wouldn't have been competitive in the 500, but now that it's stretched out to 1,000 metres, Claudia Marks has dominated.
It was a wonderful race and such a high level of competition. But it's only day one, so they need to go home and get some good recovery.
Well, the first time I saw Claudia at national level riding well was in the individual pursuit. So
in the juniors.
Yeah, so it was really good to see how she stepped up in both team pursuit individual and now in the 1,000 metres. The men's 4,000 metre individual pursuit now with Liam Walsh, the Queenslander. Good ride from him. A little bit of kudos with a solid time to claim the bronze medal, and slower than Ollie Bledden in qualifying. Ollie picking up the silver for South Australia, but being caught by the fastest man we've ever seen in Australian colours in the IP, Connor Leahy from Western Australia, the big man. That was a real statement from Connor.
Oh, what a wonderful moment of history. They all look pretty happy, pretty chill.
Good friends. And in an event like that too, it's always just respect, isn't it? If you get beaten, there's no fault of anyone other than yourself. You got beaten by a better rider.
And last year's champion and who held the record for the fastest Australian, James Moriarty, I saw him wander past before, and he was watching the racing and giving a cheer. So it's great to have that camaraderie amongst the group.
Well, been a quick turnaround for these ones. So April Paddy with the bronze medal. Emily Watch, silver for her, the under-19 women's sprint. And Paige Squire, a South Australian, gold in the under-19 women's sprint. Tall and lean. Looks more like a pursuiter than a sprinter. So she does stick with the sprint. It's not to say that she will. Imagine a lot of gym training coming her way. She is just going to get more powerful, stronger, faster.
A great cohort of young athletes. Not just how fast they are, but also how mature they are in their racing approach.
So we can hear from our first of our champions in a moment. I'm just waiting to cue them up. And it'll be Claudia Marks. So we can go down to the middle now and hear from Claudia Marks.
Great. Claudia Marks, great day. Defended your crown and set a new national record. How happy are you?
Yeah, very happy. It's nice to have the time trial on the first day for once. Usually it's at the very end of racing, so yeah, it was good to kind of come in with fresh legs and see what I could put down.
Earlier in the day, were you looking to set a faster time on faster conditions, or were you still saving some in the tank for tonight?
I think I came in trying to qualify and yeah, just place as fast a time as I could. Like I said, it's the first time we're the TTs on the first day, so I just kind of really wanted to see the fastest time I could put down, and yeah, I can back myself to ride a good final, so yeah, I was just hoping to ride fast and then hold on for the final.
And start of a big week for you. What else have you got in the pipeline?
Racing every day, so heading into the enduro calendar now, so IP tomorrow, then TP, then Elim, then scratch and points race, so pretty much, yeah, something keeping me busy every day.
Congratulations, Claudia. Thank you. And we'll bring in Connor Leahy.
Back-to-back gold for Claudia. Can go straight
Connor
to
Lay,
the next
congrats.
of our interviews with
6th
Connor Lay.
crown. Getting up there. I know you had last year off, but good to get it back on your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest, after the qualifying. Try to like something different with my gear, went a bigger gear than I normally do, and yeah, with all the road stuff we've been doing, and I just couldn't get on top of it. But I think it was a good opener this morning to come out tonight and improve on the ride a bit, and yeah, I'm super stoked.
You sound shocked that you took nearly 2 seconds off James Moriarty's national record. Is that true, or did you know you sort of had that?
No, I wasn't planning on going that fast, and especially after the qualifying, I just didn't think I had it today. But I really wish James was racing here. He's a bit injured at the moment, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I'm just super stoked to get the national title and the national record back on my name, and I guess just looking forward to commies where we'll all be back on an even playing field and all ripping as fast as we can go.
Yes, and on that, it's a strong group. The depth is there. A lot of boys under sub 4:15 today. So confident leading for the rest of the year, especially when you get in 4 on the line.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think this is good today to sort of reassure myself a little bit that I am still like a solid, member of the team. Not that I've been too unconfident, but like you said, a year off, and then did the track worlds and the track world cup. But yeah, to come back to a nationals where everyone's here racing and still be able to produce some like my best times I've ever have. Yeah, it just gives me a lot of confidence for the rest of the year, and like you said, with a lot of guys going fast, it's confidence for the group as well moving forward.
Yes, and rest of the week for you, what are you looking forward to hunt?
Well, we've got a bit of a TP composite, I believe, on Thursday, so that'll be great to do another fast ride with some of my teammates, and get another opportunity to do a quick TP before we start prepping for Com Games. And then, the points race is something I always love. I won that last time I raced. Last time I raced here as well, so definitely hunting that one, and good, just everything really.
Well, look forward to seeing you out back on the track in a few days. Thank you.
Well, sensational ride from Connor Leahy. And one more presentation to come, and it's the under-19 men from the points race. They've given that little bit of extra time after such a difficult 100-lap race before coming up for their presentation. Oliver Ward from South Australia with the bronze medal. Finished on 52 points in the end. It was only 1 point between him and Oscar Schoff from Queensland. So well done to Oscar. Great ride from him. Pick up the silver. But a solo lap taken very early set Zach Douglas Savage up for a wonderful win. 78 points, a commanding victory in the end.
Yeah, absolutely sensational ride for him. He's got a great fan club in the stands that are close to us, cheering very loudly. That can make all the difference, especially when you're really digging post holes. What an exciting young rider. I look forward to seeing what he can do for the rest of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Really sensational ride from him. And we always talk about the points race as being the most difficult race on the track in terms of endurance and capabilities. It really is tough. So if you can win an under-19 national points race championship, you certainly do have the capabilities to go a long way in this sport of ours. Let's hear from our new champion as he gets himself ready with Josh Davies.
Zachary, strong ride, made a national title, super special feeling.
Yeah, it's my first ever individual national jersey and individual medal, so it's a surreal experience. Like, just like that first lap, with 60 k's to go, 60 laps to go, I thought that I was done for. I thought I'd pushed too hard, and then I had the legs to keep going.
What was going through your head in those last few laps? Because it was a small group at the front. Oscar was there, your teammate with you, and SA was still pushing through Jack Sloan. So what were you thinking?
I was looking up at the board, and I knew I just had to stay in the points and not let SA get over the top of me. And if I just kept pushing, that I could stay ahead of Jack Sloan. I just needed the points in the end.
Awesome. And obviously you sound super happy at this moment. Has it sunk in yet? I don't think so, but...
No, I'm still up there pedaling.
Awesome.
it's a really hard ride. And it's amazing that Oscar got in for second in the end as well. That's just amazing experience for both of us.
Perfect. Well, congratulations. I'll let you catch your breath, and we'll see you again in a few days.
Thank you.
Well, it's always good to see the home state win gold on the first night. It sets the tone for a big week, Kate.
It certainly does, and what an incredible first night it has been. We can see Conor Leahy there still doing some media. That's what happens when you start breaking the records. A wonderful show for him, not just for the championships, but for his career as well. Tomorrow night, lots more gold going on. We've got the team sprints for the elite women and the junior 19 men. We've got the individual pursuit for the under 19 men, the points race for the under 19 women. And we have the elite men's time trial, so more kilometre action. So lots of gold and lots of excitement tomorrow evening.
And hopefully not too many more shots of my bald patch on my head as we got from our cameraman up there.
Yeah,
thanks very
thumbs
much,
up.
guys. Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. Night one of the AusCycling Track National Championships. I'm Scott McGrory. That was Kate Bates you just heard from. It's been wonderful commentating from the Meares Velodrome once again, but make sure you stick with us for the rest of the week. As Kate mentioned, so many great races to come, kicking off with night 2 tomorrow. Good night.
Brisbane to me is just about trying something new.
You've got world-class restaurants, super delicious, lots of flavours.
Everywhere you go, there's great nightlife. It's laid back, and we're just hanging out in the sunshine.
Just walking around and having so much nature is insane to me.
Beautiful sky, beautiful weather. So much to do. You'll just never be bored.
I think Brisbane's for
Anybody.
Whoever.
It's lively, it's fun.
Brisbane definitely favours bold.
100%.
Yeah.
Brisbane to me is just about trying something new.
You've got world-class restaurants, super delicious, lots of flavours.
Everywhere you go, there's great nightlife. It's laid back, and we're just hanging out in the sunshine.
Just walking around and having so much nature is insane to me.
Beautiful sky, beautiful weather. So much to do. You'll just never be bored.
I think Brisbane's for
Anybody.
Whoever.
It's lively, it's fun.
Brisbane definitely favours bold.
100%.
Yeah.